What is up, people? Go ahead and get this going, transfer it over. So today's going to be an interesting one. Started to do is kind of go over through, like the headlines and all that kind of crap and kind of see what kind of news was out there. And I came across something that was pretty damn cool. I thought maybe I'd share it with everybody. Go ahead and get the link out there to everyone. I want to make sure I share this first. 1 second. There we go. See if it will share. All right, so I wanted to go over this article. Not exactly how I want it to go. Hang on 1 second. Flip those around. Turn that one off for right now. All right, so the article is about. That's ugly. Why is that like that anyway? Hang on. Don't like the way it looks. There we go. Much better. So like I said, I wanted to go over this article. Not this very second. I'm gonna go ahead and get some people on the panel first. But the reason I wanted to go over this is it kind of gives you a really good example of how science works when it comes to the different aspects of it, like for instance, gravity, and what people would assume happens when an alternative comes about, or an add-on, as so to speak. This article pretty much explains exactly how it works, and maybe it'll help some people understand what happens once an alternative or an alternative theory actually becomes part of science. So until then, we'll go ahead and do the panel. Got some big news coming up. It's not the biggest news in the world, but it's going to be pretty cool. A new idea. It's going to be called Hangout Mania. It's going to be pretty cool. One of the things that will be part of Hangout Quotamania, I haven't decided yet. I think I want to do. Well, let's do it this way. So this is what it's going to be. Think about every single person that jumps on panels who has an art of over talking, so to speak. They're the ones I want to get on a panel, just one panel. Link's not working. Let me try it again. Try this. That one should work. I have no idea where that 4 came from on the end of it. That's what stopped it from working though. Turn the fans a lot. But yeah, I'll go ahead and start describing what Hangout Mania will be. Like I said, it's going to be, actually, what's up? What's up, Loken? What's up, Freeman? What's up, Terry? How you guys doing? Can you guys hear me? Let me make sure my settings are good.
Yeah, it just seemed like it was a bad link or something.
What's up? Yeah, can you guys hear me? I have no idea where that 4 came from on the end of it. That's what. Hello? Let's see if I change my microphone.
Sean tried to break my phone.
What's up, guys? All right, now
Sean, how you doing, buddy?
How you guys doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Good.
I'm interested in this article.
Yes. What's up, Crash? What were you saying? My bad. What were you saying, Crash?
I'm having a wonderful day.
Oh, well, why would you have a bad day?
Yesterday was not a good day for me. I'll go over that off air with you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I wanted to talk about Hangout Mania. And I haven't decided. Maybe you guys can help me on which way I want to do this. Maybe I'll do both. I either want to do it where I get all this, the most likely to try to run a panel. You know what I mean? The talkers. I want to get them all on one panel and have them have a free-for-all. Now, here's the kicker to it. We see who lasts longer, who doesn't rage quit, basically. How's that sound? That sound like a good one?
Sounds fun.
Okay. Now,
are you going to have Bandsaw moderate that?
No, he's not ready for that yet. He's not quite ready to handle the Rumpuses and the Shawn Hawkinses. You know what I mean? Not yet. But here's the next little part of it. I want a compilation of your guys' best ranters. Because, there's so many out there, and I only know so many that are around here and stuff. So I figured I'll try to get the Hangout of Mania going with all these guys. But as this challenge, people find clips of their favorite ranters, I guess you would say, and then send those in. And then I'll pick, who sent in the best rant. I thought about that. The issue with that would be, what if 10 people send in the same rant? So I don't know if I can make it a challenge, or just a fun challenge without a win. What do you guys think?
Crickets.
Did you? Jeez. In the chat, maybe.
No, I'd say if it's something you want to do, then go for it. It sounds interesting. Sounds like a fun idea to spice up the debate scene.
Yeah, just a little something different is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Shawn Hawkins may win it all, but
Makes it more entertaining as well, I guess.
it does.
Yeah,
it does.
yeah, I vote for Shawn.
Say again?
I said I'll vote for Shawn.
Everyone, I mean, it's almost like gimme, but I'm pretty sure there's other guys. Like, for instance, if I were to pick, I would actually pick Jibby. I'm not sure if anyone knows who Jibby is. I know a few people do. Jibby, that guy can go from 0 to 60 in a heartbeat for no reason and go on for an hour. It's insane.
Pete Shea, he can do that.
Pete Shea's another one. So basically, hey, what's up to it? So she wants me to explain it again. Okay, so imagine how the Rumpus acts in a hangout. Imagine how Shawn gets when he gets frustrated. Stingray, I think you said Stingray earlier, Twit. Stingray would be a perfect, or he kind of just goes on these endless rants. You know what I mean? And it's perfect. Lewis, I would consider someone who does the same thing. Chemo Spurs, he does it a lot. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a freak out. It doesn't have to be angry. It could just be someone who goes on a rant all the time. And by the end of the rant, you're usually more confused than when they started.
Well, you have to put Lemon Bird into that one if you're going to put chemo in.
That's what I mean. I can't think of them all. And there's people I don't know. So I figured if I included everyone into this, it'd be better. So names, I need names. If you sent me clips, I'd be happy. But I think it'd be something that'd be cool. I think it would be an awesome idea.
Yeah, wouldn't they feel like they'd be walking into a trap or be walking into some sort of situation that's going to be humiliating them?
Oh no, I'd be upfront about it. I tell them exactly what's going on. The thing is the people I'm thinking of, or maybe the people that gave me this idea inspired it. So, hang on, you guys gonna hear that dog for a second.
Dog wants to put it. Dog's putting its 2 cents worth in.
Yeah, that dog barks because it's the door's in front of it. It's insane. So what was I saying? Oh, so I want to be completely upfront because the best part about it is even the people I named, at least, if you told them that was going on, they're still going to join the hangout for one. For two, they're going to talk nonstop.
And they're going to have conflicting opinions.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Lewis? How you doing, sir?
Do you want us to come up with titles for it, or is it going to be a...
Here you go.
All right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I go off on rants and leave you more confused than when I started.
You have in the past. Yes.
That's not good.
No. It's not every time, but I would consider you someone who has a lot to say, and it's not a bad thing. But for instance, you read online. You can't read online unless you want to be heard, or you don't read like that online. I know. Yeah. It's just the way I'm thinking. It doesn't have to be complete full of logic. Just fun. Right. It's in no way a personal slam.
Yeah, I know. I know.
It just sounds. Put it this way: you're on the other spectrum of Rumpus.
Why am I squished? You've got me squished.
No. You have you squished.
That's not me.
I have the hang. Look,
looks all right here.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone
Yeah,
has uses their avatar. The people that use their cameras, that's your problem, not mine.
Oh man.
Here, I'll fix it for you, Lewis. I'll fix it.
Jeez.
This should be interesting.
Oh man. Twit
Now,
said,
that-
say something nice about Shawn.
Now, do these people have to be sober or drunk when they speak?
Oh well, let's keep it real.
Oh,
Most
I
of the
think
time,
I think that cancels them all out.
yeah.
If,
Well, no, because consider sober. Because, for instance, a lot of the ones I'm thinking of definitely are drunk. But like Shawn Hawkins, I don't think he drinks, or he may drink, but nothing he does is caused by a alcoholic rage or nothing. So, I mean, for all we know, sober is the key. Like Lemon Bird. I don't think he ever does anything that we know of, but the rants are there. Chemo Spurs, I'm sure he's on something, but no one knows it. He does it like it's the best thing in the world to do.
And what about Flat Earth Aussie Jesus that I had on my Hangout for 10 hours or whatever it was?
I've never heard him.
Oh my God, you're so lucky.
He did leave me the longest rant in the world on my my comments. Like it was like four paragraphs. I literally typed them like I'll only answer the first paragraph because that's like really all I cared to read. And then I was like, I will return the rest of the paragraphs at a later time, and I just refused to read another paragraph. Yeah, it was bad, but that's my idea for the Hangout of Mania. It's in the workings, we'll say. But
hey, unfortunately, guys, man, a couple of my friends have just turned up uninvited, so I'm gonna have to bounce.
okay, no worries, no worries.
All right, sound. Cheers, guys.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
So what we'll do right now is sure if you heard, I'll share it in here so you guys can see it as well. But I wanted to go over this article because I'm pretty sure some flat earthers would like to know that, you know, we are talking about relevant shit. Give me 1 second. I can share it with you guys.
Alternative theory of gravity makes a nearly testable prediction.
Yes. Oh, and even better, Lewis, you get to read it. Good job, buddy.
Oh,
Yeah, see.
thank you.
Well, here's the thing. If you've ever, well, I'm pretty sure you've heard me read. Sometimes it's kind of like watching something have a seizure. So I decided when we have nice little articles to be read, have you guys do it.
Oh, okay. Well, from our current perspective, the universe seems to be dominated by two things we find frustratingly difficult to understand. One of these is dark matter, which describes the fact that everything from galaxies on up behaves as if it has more mass than we can detect. While that has spawned extensive searches for particles that could account for the visual discrepancy, it has also triggered the development of alternative theories of gravity, ones that can replace relativity while accounting for the discrepancies in apparent mass. So far, these proposals have fallen well short of replacing general relativity, and they say nothing about the other big mystery, dark energy, which appears to be accelerating the expansion of the universe. Instead, researchers have developed an entirely separate class of theories that could modify gravity in a way that eliminates the need for dark energy. Now, researchers have run simulations of galaxy and star formation using this alternative version of physics, and they found we might be on the cusp of testing some of them.
All right.
Or on the cusp.
So that just as a instruction to do it so far. So the idea that now they're starting to try to figure out how dark matter, dark energy play into the mix of gravity. Now, I don't think, because I've read through this, and I don't think what they're trying to say is that they figured it out at all. But now this is kind of that aspect of it of how do they know? Well, if we're talking just the gravity that we know, general relativity, or even Newtonian, they had to do these type of things where they had to play out 101 billion different things that could be happening and go from there. And the idea that any type of gravity idea that was ever thought of that worked was ever thrown out is kind of far-fetched. For instance, the whole idea that it could be like some kind of electromagnetic effect or something like that, it works to a certain point. And I guess you could use it, to that small ramification, but it doesn't fully work. So therefore, it never surpasses anything we have now.
RC, we're getting a lot of feedback from you.
Yeah, is that who that is?
Yeah, I couldn't figure out who it was.
Well, I'm presenting, so I can't see the people at the moment.
I thought I was muted.
No,
Nope.
you're not. All right.
There we go.
Now, one of the things that they were doing to figure things out is basically apply different ways particles could react or change the situation, I guess you would say, to figure out what these, dark matter and dark energy could be. One of the things I've read are basically the choices that they're given in a spectrum of how this works is they either have come across particles that they have never seen, which means they don't know what they're seeing. They don't know how it works. It's not something that can be explained because they've never seen it before. Or particles that we obviously have observed, but are doing something we have never seen them do. Now, I'm pretty sure that's kind of what CERN is. CERN's doing a lot of that where they're trying to see the different things that particles do in situations or how they could change or what would happen if you did this and that. And one of the things that I've read up on and kind of confuses me, but at the same time makes me understand a little bit more, is that if there are particles that that science has never seen before, ever, and these particles do explain dark energy, dark matter, or at least some part of it, or are in the realm of it. The gravity that we have now is still the gravity we have now. So if we then started to figure out gravity on the quantum level, Newtonian is still going to work on the surface of Earth. General relativity is still going to work to explain the space-time, the curvature in space-time. Just going to work. But once you get to those outer realms that those two theories don't quite explain anymore, that's when something is built on. That's when, say, we'll call it quantum gravity for right now. If they figured out quantum gravity needs to explain everything Newtonian has explained, everything general relativity has explained, and then work in explaining everything outside of that to a point, I guess. But, if I'm sure everyone on the panel agrees that regardless, it's all going to work to then.
Have we got any latest data from the Hadron Colliders experiments?
I'm sure there's a lot of data. Just have to.
Oh shit, that was Sasha. So.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah, I just want to say
if you can just back off your mic like a half an inch, you'll be good.
And usually we'd tell him to speak up, but now.
Yeah. Just that's how new theories are developed. They get like Newton's was a elaboration on Einstein's, and this quantum thing's going to be an elaboration on Newton's, but it's all going to boil down to the same point.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be a more complex version of it.
Yeah, and I started looking up on the whole quantum idea, and it's definitely way too advanced for me.
That's also just another example. It's the same thing in mathematics, like calculus. It's just another. It's another branch, but if it's all simplified down and all boiled down, it gets back to the same basic.
Okay. Oh,
principles.
I can explain that even better. When they first started doing math and teaching math, addition and subtraction is what they used. That was basic. You can do it into an infinity. Then someone went, hey, we can't keep adding 1 + 1 that many times. Why don't you just say that 1 times how many times you use the 1? That's perfect. Then they had multiplication and division. It's the same thing. It's just now they have, general relativity. Now they're going to have quantum. Quantum is just that even more fine of a way of explaining it. It's pretty simple.
It accounts for more discrepancies. It's
Exactly.
like if there's some gray area in one equation, if you make your equation more complex, but that equation still simplifies down to the same thing, as long as that's true, it's still this but you've covered those gray areas, that's a better explanation.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It doesn't make any sense, or it's starting to make sense to me now. But thinking, how would I say it? You can't even just start to decide that there's an issue with the way, we'll say, gravity, the theory of gravity is. The problem is the only way that you could possibly begin to start this process would be to find a hole in gravity, in the theory of gravity. And we're definitely not hearing that. Crickets.
More cricket. You haven't got a cricket button, have you?
I don't. I only have a trigger button so far. But the best part about this article, I'm going to put the article in the chat so anybody can read it anytime they want. The main thing I wanted to show about this is it's not like science is closed up. Everyone keeps acting as if science is like, oh, we got gravity figured out. General relativity is a big scale. We got Newton for the small scale. No more. Stop. No.
No, they're still working on it. They're not going to stop.
Mm-hmm. Trust me. There's any scientist that involves themselves with anything to do with gravity, you know what they're doing? They're trying to be the one that stumps Einstein. Guess what, Einstein? You couldn't explain this, but I did. Add on. That's all these scientists are trying to do.
Yeah, the flat earthers say that they can disprove gravity, but there's people that have devoted their lives to trying to do that. Just so that they can come up with a better theory. They haven't been successful. I mean, there's been gray areas like dark energy that they haven't figured out, but like again, that's where we need a more complex model.
Okay, so
but there's people that.
So in the chat, Matrix is saying, explain what? What exactly? He says, what does it really do for us? Flat earthers have found big holes in gravity. So I asked him to name a few. I mean, you can. Matrix, you're more than welcome to cut. Hang on.
Well,
you're more than welcome because I want to hear it. Because I completely understand. Like, I'm almost under the impression that I know what's going to happen. But
I don't understand how these people that have no scientific background can disprove gravity when people devote their whole lives and education to disproving it and still can't.
Mm-hmm. And the ultimate reality of it is they heard it from somebody. The other issue is that they won't tell you who they heard it from because the person that they heard it from most likely, in most cases, not all, most cases, is on YouTube. Then you would have to ask yourself, the person you heard this information from, are they qualified to give this to tell you that this is how it works? Because here's the thing, I can tell you how something works and I can give you my sources, and that gives you the opportunity to go out and fact check what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I am the word of answers. I'm just relaying my opinion and what I've learned, and now I feel I understand under the time that I've been studying this stuff. But in no part have I ever once thought, I think this is wrong. All those guys are stupid and I'm right. Now, there are a couple things I've gone, wait, that doesn't make any sense. And I got to go down a rabbit hole to figure it out and see how they came up with something. But how many people are actually doing that? Because if you did, then you'd have an understanding, a decent understanding of gravity, enough that denying gravity is impossible. I can't deny. I don't know. Like, put it this way, I don't know everything there is about gravity. I'm pretty sure of the 100% knowledge that we have of gravity, I'm on like the 10% mark. I can at least confidently feel that there's nothing that I've seen or experienced that would give me even a second of a reason to think that gravity is not what happens when things fall or
And
why we weigh.
And a typical response from somebody called Eat and Forget. Gravity, it's a theory because it's fake. Now, we feel the effects of gravity here. So it's not fake. We feel it.
Yeah.
Also, a theory,
Mhm.
this always bugs me. A theory does not mean a hypothesis. Theory.
Yeah. No, yeah. That's the terminology of it. Understand there is two different ideas of what a theory is when it's used. One, a theory in layman's terms, that means the general term for theory, is a hypothesis. The problem is in the scientific terms of when you're using the word theory, you're using it as a scientific theory, which means it's gone through all the steps. It's done all the things that need to be done to verify it as a scientific theory to be true, is factual, basically. There's an obvious difference between the two theories. Big time. And that's important. And then another idea is that the scientific theory or the scientific method is this concrete step that you have to take. No. It's a way to know you know what the hell you're doing when you're coming up with this insane hypothesis from start to finish. How do I know you took the steps to do it? I can use the scientific method to break down your experiments to make sure you did it correctly. It's a tool. It's not a religion. Religion tells you what to think. Science tells you how to think of something being working and all the steps it takes to do it. It's up to you to do it now. That's all it. It's really realistically what it is. You can make up your own science, fine and dandy. But stop being surprised when people say no to you, and then explain something to you.
And obviously, if one person does something, another person's got to repeat it. They've got to be able to. It's got to be repeatable.
Yeah. So I should be able to explain. If I explain a test I've done to convince myself gravity is real, I need to be able to explain to you what I did. You do the same thing, and if your results are different, that's when I have to rethink my hypothesis, and then I got to do it again to figure out what's going on. And we'll do this over and over again until both our hypotheses work, and then we'll move on, and we'll keep doing the steps. It's only a tool to verify the steps are done correctly.
And it's not like the flat Earth one where they think, well, we know what we want. We've got a result, and then we just got to figure out how to get that result. No, we do the test to see what the results are. We don't put the cart before the horse, sort of thing.
Okay, so Matrix says gravity is a theory of what? What is it trying to explain in reality? Gravity is not the theory of something. Gravity is law. Gravity explains why things fall to the center of its mass. And it does it every time. We can test it. You can look, matter of fact, I'm not sure if you guys will hear this, but that's gravity. Something. Yeah. My lighter dropped the same way Barney's did. So until you prove my hypothesis different, we're going to move on.
You're not going to go to the theory of because we picked it up and then because it went back to its original resting spot.
Nope, because me and Barney debunked that as well. Barney seriously, if he put the lighter in his hands, right? In the same way, say the Earth split for no reason, I don't know, just did. It splits from under that lighter. Nothing put energy into that lighter, and the lighter still will fall. Therefore, you don't have to put energy into anything for it to fall. If that were the case, the lighter would be floating straight up until something put energy into it so that it could fall. Like they don't get it. It's like the reason we know density. Yeah, see, I was going to say it. Einstein or in the chat basically put density, not gravity. And I was going to say, here's the problem. And I love that I understand this now. The same way speed does not describe a direction, acceleration does, is the same thing is buoyancy that describes the up force. The centrifugal and what is the other one? Centrifugal and centrifugal, they describe directions. Gravity describes another direction. Density doesn't describe a direction. That's what you're not understanding. It's not just a name, right?
They talking about density as in buoyancy or density as in
No.
mass?
Density as in it's what it is.
It's mass or it's weight. Well, you only get weight from gravity, so.
Well, that's the thing. They're doing one step, a hypothesis, and they're not willing to test their hypothesis. They just want to think that's just what it is. But what they're not doing is thinking it through enough to understand that density doesn't have any vectors. It doesn't go anywhere. There's no direction. That is what these terms describe, directions. It's not just about gravity pulls me down. Gravity describes a vector, down. Where's down? To the center of the mass. What about the upside down people? No, you don't get it. Wherever you are, wherever you're listening right now, I don't care where you're listening from, down is down from you to the center of the earth. The center of that mass that is creating that gravity because it is so massive.
What would you say, upside down people? You mean you?
No. We're not upside down. Again, I'll explain it.
Yeah.
No matter where you're at, down only means I don't care where you point. I don't care if no, I do care if you're concave or God damn it, Jason, go away. Down is to the center of the mass you live on. So how can Terry be upside down? If he points down, he's pointing to the center of mass. If I point down, I point to the center of mass. There is no way I could be pointing to his up.
If you could dig all the way for the middle of the earth, you'd be digging down halfway and then be digging up the rest of the way.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you wouldn't be digging down the whole way. I'm sorry. Because, and here's how it works. That's a perfect example. The deeper you go, the heavier you're going to get. Why? Because the closer to that center of mass, you're going to feel the effects of gravity. The thing is...
And the mass all around you.
Yes. And here's the thing. Let's just pretend you get to the center. And then you decide, I'm going to keep digging. Rather than feel heavy to your dig, the way you're digging, what's going to end up happening, you're going to start having to dig harder because the gravity will be going to the center. If Terry, for example, was upside down in this mythical world, then I would be digging to my gravity the whole time. We know that this is how it works because no matter what, if I dig and Terry digs, the closer we get to the center of mass, the same effect's going to happen to us where we're going to be feeling heavier into our dig, period. And I mean, that's as simple as explaining gravity can get. If you don't understand that part, I hope you have a very, very good explanation for something different.
No, I haven't really heard one yet. Not for that part, anyway. That one hasn't been argued about yet.
But that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
And we know this because no matter where you live on Earth, you're digging into the ground. The feeling you're going to feel, you digging your weight to the dig, is going to happen. And that's gravity. That's the direction of a force described. It can't be density. Density is density no matter what. If you put something that is dense on the table, that's density right there. It's not going anywhere. It's not in a direction. It's dense. You can measure the density of an object, but you're not measuring its direction. Therefore, it can't be gravity.
Yeah, there has to be some outer force. Otherwise, the objects of different density would just intermingle. Because how come it's not more dense how come it's not less dense near the surface of the earth and more dense at the top?
Hmm?
Density has to have some force establishing a direction.
Now, it's in the vacuum chamber. The feather in the rock and the bowling ball is a perfect example of not density, because the only reason, if you drop a bowling ball and feathers right now, not in a chamber, the only reason the bowling ball hits the ground first is because the atmosphere that we're dropping these objects in. It's as simple as it gets to explain that. Now, in the vacuum chamber, where atmosphere is removed, the observations that we make over and over and over again are that they drop at the same rate. There is no atmosphere that affects it. In that sense, that means in the idea that its density means that bowling ball should be dropping faster than those feathers, and it doesn't.
The only reason it moves at all, the observation that it moves at all completely discredits density. Because if you're in a vacuum chamber, it's not more dense up top and less dense below. The bowling ball doesn't have a direction to go in or to seek its density gradient. It would just remain stationary. It wouldn't go up or down or sideways or left or right. Yet it still falls at 9.8 meters per second.
Hang on a sec. Because in the chat, Glim is saying stuff, and he's saying a lot, but I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to pay attention to Matrix. Matrix says, laugh out loud. How do we know about the center exactly or what it's been made of? Well, that's not even part of the conversation. It's not, maybe on another time, but we all know it's the center because we know we live on a globe. And if my down is digging to the center and your down is digging to the center, Terry's digging to the center, it's kind of a good way of having a good knowledge of which way that vector is establishing down to wherever you're at. That force, gravity, I love saying that, is going to the center of a mass, its mass. So that's, more proof of, or more explanation for it. Now what Glim is saying, because I know he's like a glober, but he has a very flat earth apologetic attitude. Glim says, I read about GPS being based on state plane coordinate system as globe earth math failed to work, but it did under fundamental history. No, first of all, that doesn't make sense. Those planes are talking to satellites that fly with that big thing on the top of them. They're talking to satellites, not the ground. You got to learn how that works first. Okay, so the last thing he said to me was, you have a complete fundamental misunderstanding. The density vector comes from its natural place of rest, i.e. equilibrium. You take it away from there and you have potential energy. Okay, again, I'll say this. If the ground came out from under your your object's natural place of rest, it would still fall. You would not have put potential energy into that object, and it will still fall. We know this because the ground does split in earthquakes and any other situation. It does happen. We know that. And still, everything will fall. If the ground splits, all the rock that was there falls. Doesn't have potential energy put into it ever. It does it because gravity is a direction, and we see it. We see the effect, or we see the effects of it when we do the test. For instance, drop something and it falls. Okay, we'll put it this way: drop it and it falls. You have to call whatever. If you're making a test, call it blah 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 blah. Doesn't matter. But I guarantee by the end of your scientific method used test, you're going to call it gravity because blah, 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 blah. It sounds really retarded. So what Grim was saying, yeah, you're wrong. I don't have a fundamental misunderstanding of it at all. I think, if anything, for the time that I've been here, I think the people that have heard me talk from when I first came would be exceptionally happy with the fact that I have actually sank in knowledge. So I do thank them. He says, the ground pressure would be the force there when at rest. Okay, but here's the problem. That's in every direction. Atmospheric pressure hits everything in all its directions. So it's not a downward force. It's a everywhere force. That's why everywhere has that pressure when it's in that area. At surface, it's 14.7. It's not 14.7 down, 10 sideways, and 10 the other. That's not right. Atmospheric pressure cannot be the cause for it. Unfortunately, as a flat earther, I thought, hey, atmospheric pressure could work. I mean, when you're on a mountain, oh, damn, that's why it didn't work. I realized it. You would think that the force that this atmospheric pressure exerts in one direction would be more the higher up you go versus down. See, that's how I thought it worked. I was like, oh, wait, what if, get on a mountain, the force is so much, there's more of it under you and not above you, and that's why you feel lighter. The problem is I didn't realize that atmospheric pressure on top of a mountain is that a gradient. So we'll just pretend and say 8 is 8 all around you. It's not 8 at the top, 10 at your feet. You know, it doesn't work that. Atmospheric pressure doesn't work that way, so it can't be that. I really went into that. So atmospheric pressure as your gravity doesn't work, because that was what I thought I was working on. I was just trying to figure that out a lot. He says the vector is directly where the place of rest is. If you take something away from its place of rest, it will have the imaginary string attached to its equilibrium. Okay, again, you say the vector is directly where. That's not a vector. The directly where the place of rest. That's not a vector. The place of rest is a place of rest. That's all that is. The vector would then be up when you pick it up. The problem is you're not putting potential energy in it. For instance, if it's a leaf and the wind blows, it's not putting energy into the leaf. It is a effect of the wind blowing it. But that leaf then falls because of gravity, not because of potential energy. There's no energy put into that leaf. What's up, Jose?
Oh no, Jose's there.
Well, here's the thing, Jose. At least my babble sounds sexy. Enjoy your day at work. You just wish you could babble in my English. Thank you, M Stone. That means a lot from you, sir. Yeah, but I mean, I don't have to even share this anymore. Go look at it. I put the link in the chat a while ago. I'll do it again, but it's a good read. Kind of just gives you an idea. It's not changing anything. They haven't figured anything out. It's just how they're trying to figure out these steps with realistic ideas of how it works, rather than just because it has to or because I want it to.
Well, different people have different way of wording things, which still explains something similar. So,
But that's why if you if you know of something that's different in a way of saying it differently, it doesn't mean it's different. It's just that when you would have to explain your observation, but what you see in your observation is going to be the same thing I see in my observation.
yeah,
That's also why, have an explanation for what you see. The sun doesn't, like saying the sun hits the apparent horizon on sunset is an explanation of how we know the Earth's a globe and we're rotating. But you can say it apparently hits the horizon to explain that to somebody.
but why are we getting the same verbatim parrot phrases from all flat earthers about all these different things that
Because
they're trying to?
because these
Everything's the same.
because these outlandish ideas had to come from somewhere,
Hmm.
and that sucks.
Yeah, they can't reword it. They just repeat it all the same, and we seem to be answering back in our way, different people.
Well,
We might say it back to them, but we're just answering the same thing all the time.
and it does, I'm not gonna lie, it's one of the things that kind of changed how I'm starting to feel about this is it does get frustrating. Like it's one thing to be like I'm here to ask questions and I want to learn something, then to come here and want to ask the same questions to see how many times you can ask that question before you irritate somebody, which is what a lot of flat earthers do. Now, for instance, and I don't care, seek and find is the biggest issue that I had with doing this. He'd come on and ask me over and over again, what are the effects of gravity? I can only explain a few, but they're good explanations. Now, from that, he doesn't expand on how he doesn't believe it doesn't work or how some of those things that I said could be wrong. He just wants to know what's the effects of gravity every time he asks a question. Is he trying to learn something or is he just playing a game? That's what I had to figure out.
Well, if you ask the same questions over and over, and to me, that's just dishonesty in yourself.
And he would say because he can't get a straight answer. But if you ask him what the correct answer would be, he doesn't have it for you. So is he having a conversation or is he just trying to play games? I've talked to a few people and they're like, you're kind of harsh. I'm like, no, you don't get it. Like I've given these people, these certain people that I've talked to, the opportunity to help me understand where their misunderstanding is or why they believe what they believe is. And I have no problem talking to anyone like that. For instance, Pete Shea. A lot of people can't stand listening to Pete Shea. But if you ask him a question, even though it is pointless, even though it is ridiculous, it's his idea. He's not piggybacking. His idea can be explained in his mind. Good for him, at least. But when you hear someone say, what are the effects of gravity? And I say, we'll use a wave. The wind has kinetic energy, but once that energy gets to a certain point, that gravity has more force on it, the wave goes away. And to him, that's not a good enough answer. Okay, well, what would be a good enough answer? Like, trust me, I've tried to figure this out. Like, that's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, when they're talking about gravity, that's why I like talking about gravity, because one of the things I was looking into as a flat earther, if gravity is not real, I got to figure out what the fuck it is. I went through that density thing. I went through the atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure, trust me, if everything everyone says, you guys should be working with atmospheric pressure. It's the closest thing you could possibly use for gravity. It works in crappy situations, but at least something works. You can get 1 or 2 steps into gravity using atmospheric pressure, but you don't. You use density. Like, atmospheric pressure at least, has a direction. It may be the same in all directions, but damn, you can explain some shit. There's less atmospheric pressure the further away you get from that center. Guess what? Same thing with gravity. You don't use it though. Like I just handed you a prize, but you're not going to go with it because then you'll realize. And here's the problem with atmospheric pressure. Yes, it does work in those weird situations, but when you realize it doesn't work, it really doesn't work. And you'll realize that right away when you get to that third step. And that's what I did. I got to that third step and went, there's no way. It's impossible for me to explain how atmospheric pressure, which can be measured from any point you are in the atmosphere, and it's in and when you measure it, everywhere around you is that atmospheric pressure. That can't be a downward pressure because it's an everywhere pressure that you are.
And it's an easy experiment just to test yourself with a balloon and bottle or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Balloon, bottle. I mean, you could just go get a barometer and walk around, go to the mountains. You'll realize it really quick that it sounds real good. Trust me, when I was a flat earther and I heard gravity's not real, I was like, oh shit, what is it? I went, wait, atmospheric pressure, because atmospheric pressure they teach you, it's in every direction, every like a table. The same atmospheric pressure pushing down on that table is pushing on the bottom of that table. It's giving you a direction at least. And the further away you get from the center of Earth, the less atmosphere there is, which means the less, feel like you don't feel as much weight, mass. Well, like that kind of works. The problem is that it's not a downward force. Just like gravity isn't a downward no, it's a downward force. Density is density. It's not a vector. It doesn't tell you which way to go. It's like
Yeah.
It's like going fast. What's fast? Where is it going? Like, it doesn't make any sense. If I explain it, you got to understand everything we're talking about when we talk about gravity, buoyancy, we're describing the direction it wants things to go. Density, you're describing the object, not a direction. It's pretty like it cannot be density. The same way flat Earth and lunar eclipses are impossible. No one's explained that one to me. Not one. Every time I ask now, I don't know. Pretty sure everyone's heard already. Earth is seriously flat. He's not a flat earther anymore because he said and openly admitted he can't explain it. He knows it's impossible on a flat Earth. So now he's like, what, a convex? Can't wait to crush those dreams. Because you can go as far out as you want, and at no point do you see the world start rising on you. And it's not like a mountain. It'd be the world. There'd be no oceans on the edge.
The oceans would all flow to the middle and make a giant pond.
Yeah, we'd be dead. That salad bowl would kill us all.
Well, then we'd still have gravity, so they'd still have to explain that.
It's apparently from what's the name explained it to me. It's a pushing force to the outside, but
you're talking. What's up, Chris?
What's up?
How you doing, sir?
Hey, Chris.
Pretty good.
You're talking about Pete Shea, Sasha?
No, the convexer.
Because Pete Shea believes it's a pushing force from above. But I explained to him.
No. Convex is in pushing force out to keep like the oceans or whatever nonsense.
Okay.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah.
No gravity needed. There you go.
Yeah. How you been, Chris?
Pretty good.
And I want to say, good test on a. So, I hadn't seen this before until someone had brought it up. But you pretty much did the Cavendish experiment with trailer hitches in a kettleball. It was a while ago.
Yeah, that sounded interesting.
It was a good test. I saw it. It did move, I guess. I only watched half of the last half of it, so it did move, but I didn't hear your explanation for it. what is your explanation of gravity? Because I know it is a little different. So I know some that even still believe in gravity just can't explain the center of mass part.
It was always moving. Like I could never get it to stay still.
Oh,
So
okay, so
I thought it was, but when you go back and if you look at the video and you analyze it, like it's constantly moving. And every video I've ever seen, the pendulum is constantly moving. Even the ones, what was his name? I think it was Slice Barkane.
okay, so you're taking that to the tension in the rope?
It's part of that. It's also part of the way that the apparatus is set up, and that it like literally your breath can cause it to move. It's
I
super.
see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. No, well, I'd say for your test, though, I could see you set it up right. I could see the error in it in that they used the level as your crossbeam. I mean, I think just the shape of it and everything kind of would have
Yeah, the BM
changed it.
furball.
I mean, but he did a good job at balancing it. He shows that that he balances it. It's not like that. It's just I think also you're gonna get an error of margin. You're gonna have to because like I watched a girl. She did the Cavendish and she did all the numbers and everything, and there is an error for margin, but that's only because of the fact that no one's perfect really, or you can't get it as perfect as in a lab as you try to get. But that error margin is negligible. Like you can see it. You can actually explain why it's off a little.
So, excuse me. So somebody mentioned BM Furball, and he's doing a test. Has he done it yet? Like he's been working on his apparatus for so long, like it's insane.
Who?
He's
Well,
taking.
well, he is working mainly in his day job, so the times he's had to do the setting up and getting the correct measuring devices that he needs to set up for everything to do with vibration, air temperature, filming it on non-stop over a certain period of time, that they all take time to do. I know he's going to be setting back into it soon. So
Well,
I know I'd rather have someone take as long as they need to make sure that the test is as good as possible and then take it.
I mean, I agree, but think about all the people like me and Sly and everyone else who just sort of went in their garage, their living room, hooked up the string and some weights, and said, "Look, it's moving."
Well, here's the thing: your test would be accurate to a degree because it's not in a perfect setting. Because you have to account for little drafts in your garage that you're not going to be able to do anything about. You could still measure that out and still see the degree of error because of that wind in your garage. Things like that. I mean, it's not about how perfect it is how
A better
accurate
experiment.
your observation are to compare with.
A better experiment is doing the one with the scale, with the hanging scale, and then putting the weight under the scale and watching how it weighs more
that's
in
the
the
easiest
scale.
one. That's
Have
the
you-
easiest
Because
one.
Have you seen that one, Chris?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it and I had never seen it. So, but yeah, I mean, that's as real as it gets when it comes to how the gravity or we'll just say the downforce is. I mean,
because that one
what-
takes out the variability of like you breathing on it and it changing or anything.
or density.
So the only video of that I've ever seen is that one that looks like it was filmed in like 1967, and they there's like a lot of cuts and edits, and I'm not saying they faked it. I'm just saying who knows, right? Like it's not peer reviewed. It's not really an experiment. It's just some guy.
Do it yourself then.
Well,
That is no. That's no
really expensive.
no because that's
a cheap.
That experiment was done when the whole electromagnetic was gravity argument was going on, and that was the way that they proved that it wasn't electromagnetic, because if it was, that force wouldn't have showed you that down.
Sorry.
The only cost involved in that is getting a decent sized lead ball.
What was the name of that experiment, you know?
No. Those scales are like super expensive. They're like $1,000 or something.
Yeah, but you can use ones that have got at least
That-
3 decimal
You
points.
can use the ones that are at your
No, it's not
grocery
about the
store to weigh
decimal.
produce. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a hanging scale. It's not.
If it's
You don't
digital,
need something.
it's digital with 3 decimal
Yeah.
places, that's all you need.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm scrolling right now, and I've seen at least 15 different things you could do as experiments for gravity.
Mm.
I mean, and they all come to the same conclusion within their error of margin.
Could a person make a balance scale that was like offset with an extremely long arm? So we'd have this really long sweep for a greater precision.
Well, you got to remember, the longer you go, the stronger that its bar would have to be. So then you're starting to get into that realm of it bending.
Yeah. Okay.
I see what you're saying, though. You could make it.
That would bring in the accuracy of the mass attracting mass, because you'll have more torque on the mass for the bar. Yeah.
You'd have the fulcrum would be like really close to the weight, but the arm would be like really long but really light. So it would balance out, and then that would be your pointer. So when you get it leveled out, and it'd take a long time because it would want to move because it's so long, and then move the weight below it, and it should show deflection.
Yeah, it's. I see. The thing is I know Cavendish is probably the last test I'd want to do. Like it's you got to be so. It's so tedious. It's like, what the hell? Like,
Well, he wrote like a 60-page report on it. It's crazy how much they had to go into with that.
Well, but Bandsaw Bandit read the whole 62 or 63 pages on
Oh
it.
my goodness.
So if you want to quiz anyone, quiz him on it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I gotta jump on and call this jackass out. Gleam.
yes.
So Gleam, about 30 minutes ago, you said, "Oh, I can't stay long. That's why I'm not going to get on the channel and talk."
Well, he
But
could
you're
have
going
been
to
you
sit
by now.
here and talk on chat for 30 minutes and talk your trash.
Yeah.
Come on, buddy.
Well, the funny part is I pretty much already destroyed his density explanation, and he stopped talking to me. And I think that's when he started talking to you. Was he? Yeah, I think I saw him talking to you. Or damn, now he's talking to everyone. But yeah, you too.
Has Gleam ever joined panels?
Huh?
Has Gleam ever joined a panel?
No, I don't think I've only heard of him on Nathan's, I think, once.
So, yeah. But yeah, we're back to gravity. Just the best experiment in my opinion is that one with the weight. If you want to prove/disprove, just run that one. It's
Which one?
with the scale.
You got a what's it called?
I'm not sure what it's called.
I think I'll find it.
Okay, but it's
Gravity weight
it's-
experiment.
yeah.
It's gravity with a hanging scale.
With the scale, yeah. But
What about
it's just so simple. It disproves density. It disproves.
Mm.
It
What
shows
about
like the downward force. It's just such a good experiment. Shows mass
Well,
attracting mass.
it's not an experiment. It's an observation. using-
Well, it is
It is an
an
experiment.
experiment.
It's a
Well, it's not an
It is
test.
an
experiment.
experiment.
It's a
It
test.
is. It is.
It's
You have
test.
a hypothesis. Your
What's the
hypothesis is
hypothesis?
no. Your hypothesis would be the object in the scale will register as weighing more if I place a greater amount of mass under the scale, because gravity states that
That's not a hypothesis.
yes it is if then
What-
because
Sasha,
hypothesis
listen
goes
to
if
me.
then because that's
It's
how
not
a
a
hypothesis goes.
No.
If
What
I
about
place
that?
if I place
well-
weight under the scale, then the object in the scale will weigh more because mass attracts mass. That's my
What are
hypothesis.
you manipulating?
You're manipulating the amount of weight under the scale, the amount of mass under the scale.
Can you see my screen?
Oh, hang on, Sean. Sean, I'm going to show that the video real quick.
Okay,
So
I'll stop here. Do I Yeah.
Hang on. I'll present you that right after this one because I was going to play. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Yeah. So this is that. You guys can see it, right? Yeah.
There we go.
Now, what would make the scale make that piece heavier, or more of that downward force?
Like half a dozen things that I can think of.
Let's hear them. Hey, man, I'm not here. I'm not going
Name
to
one.
just be like
Name
no,
one.
but let's work with. Let's figure it out.
So first of all, they don't show. They cut the video to where you don't see it move, and then you don't see the scale.
Oh,
the scale
well,
move.
that's the thing. It doesn't move. You don't see it
No.
move.
No, they don't see. They don't leave it on the numbers while they move the weight under the scale, and then see the number move.
Well,
Like,
they
how do we
didn't-
know when the number moved? Like, what if they moved? They did something to it.
Yeah, but they didn't know about split screen back in those days. How to do that?
And they didn't think, hey, someone's going to think we're messing with it.
Also, why are we bashing this one video if we can just do the experiment?
Yeah.
If ourselves,
Has
we
anyone else
could-
done this?
I mean, you can if it is done, I'm sure.
That's the
if it
only
is done,
video that I've ever seen.
Let's find out.
okay. Let's go find out. But if it is if you do it yourself, you will find the same result, similar results.
Now this
I
should
mean, no,
web
it-
one here should work.
You have static electricity. You have
No, lead's not affected by static.
what isn't?
Lead
Lead.
or
Yeah, that's
like-
That's also
or
another thing.
mag-
People said it was magnets, but lead isn't magnetic.
Yeah,
no,
that's why
nor
they
is
used it.
affected by electromagnets.
Yeah.
Lead is slightly magnetic.
What?
No, it's-
No, it's not.
No, not.
no, dude.
That's why they used it. That's you
I
can
just
test that yourself.
That's funny because I just gave you a scapegoat to try and then you jumped on it. You tried to use it to try to disprove this.
Say that again.
I gave you the scapegoat of hey or I planted that thought that lead might be magnetic in your mind, and you're like, hey, that's a solution. Let me try and play that card to make this video fake. You're just trying to make it fake.
Well,
What if this video is real? What if this is the result?
Do you want me to respond to like?
Yeah, hang on, Sasha.
A, I didn't hear you. B, I've seen this video before and I've thought of that before. And C, I'm gonna read you something off Google. Is lead magnetic? Even though lead is not magnetic, it can interact slightly. It can interact slightly with magnetic fields. By moving a very strong magnet past a piece of lead, can actually cause the lead to move. So it is magnetic if you have a strong enough piece.
Read it again.
Affected by flux linkages, but
that would be in that would be in the iron. It's not the iron that makes that happen. Kind of the same way you have metals in your body and a magnet like a scanner that reads magnetic. Well, you'll have that's why you have a magnetic, or you're like the metals in your body give you that test will show that. You see what I'm saying? Like things have magnetic property even though they're not magnetic.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it just said strong magnet would move the lead. So
okay, but then read on.
There's
Read
probably
on.
some steel in it.
Yes,
somewhere.
yeah. Read
No, I
on.
think
I
what
guarantee
he's
it'll
talking
say
about
that.
it's the same with copper. If you have copper that's like free floating and you move a magnet across it, it's going to move that copper. It's just you're creating a magnetic field by moving the magnet across the metal. It's basically a magnetic field that's moving it. It's not magnetizing the metal. It's just moving it with a force.
So the field's
The-
able.
the
It feels.
lead does not get picked up by a magnet. I guarantee
Right.
it. I've
But the
seen
okay.
a scrapyard freaking magnet that's big around as your damn car, and it picks everything up but the damn battery. So
Kind of. So
Go figure.
basically, the electromagnetic field that the magnet makes, the object is affected by its force, its field.
Right.
Yeah.
Same way with copper, brass. Same way if you take a copper tube and you drop a magnet through it, it will take an appreciably longer amount of time to fall than it would in free fall in air. It's
Uh,
off.
I'm
That's
I'm
Lenz's law. That's because
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
jump
that's
off to
what Chris
watch
is talking about.
Neuralink's live stream and the Starhopper
All right.
Yeah,
live stream.
Have
I
a
was
good one,
trying
sir.
to think of the law
Thank
that
you.
I could, but yeah, Lenz's law is what Chris is talking about.
Yeah,
See,
and it's
we're familiar with all of it, Chris.
and again, density can't be it. We've proven that already. That's something I could confidently say is proof. That's just the reality of it. I mean, it's a again good that the thought of could be happening because it makes people think. But if you're going to be honest about how you're researching, you can't say that there is not a downward force.
And we're yet to see an experiment that shows anything different.
I'd love to see one. I'm not putting that on Chris. I'm just saying I love to see one in general. Period.
Yeah.
That's why when I found that article, I read through it because I was like, oh, okay, well, if they got a different idea, I'm gonna let's start hearing about what the hell they have. It's worth a look. What else did I want to talk about? I saw a bunch of stuff on here.
I don't know if it's just because I don't know if it's just because I just watched a Saturday Night Live skit, but it's like I totally expected to hear like Sean Connery saying, "Yes, the force of gravity is your mom's box, Alex." Ha 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 ha. It's like a big prank.
So yesterday, at the very end of my stream, Minister to Sobriety, our buddy, out of nowhere, I guess at some point during the stream, challenged me to a debate about red tides. I don't think red tides are good at all, so I'm assuming he thinks different. But just in case he is, I want him to see this article that just came out saying that dolphins are still dying from recent red tides and how red tides are actually really bad for aquatic life.
You got a short explanation of what red tide is?
Okay, so plankton. There are hundreds of different types of plankton. In that hundreds of different types of plankton, there's one species of plankton called phytoplankton. It's usually the plankton that hangs out at the top of the first 30 meters, I think it is, of the ocean. Well, these phytoplankton, what they do is they absorb a lot of CO2. That's, when the transfer between atmosphere and ocean. I know about them because it's part of the geoengineering process of adding iron, blah, 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 blah. Not for the topic, but what happens is at these certain random times, phytoplankton get extra baby making time. And when they do that, they blow up and it happens fast. A red tide is basically the explanation for a phytoplankton bloom. Basically, millions over a very short period of time. The red tides become toxic because what happens is this is actually a chemical that happens in the phytoplankton that makes them blow up to a high number only for the fact that it won't be able to support their life and it kills them off. Well, it's also a chemical that kills fish. It's also a chemical that all marine life does not want to be anywhere around. There are clear examples of this. The Dead Sea is a sea that was overran with chemical due to natural process. Idea is that these red tides are one of the ideas is how it happens because we've seen it. Red tides in large numbers make dead seas. A dead sea is where no aquatic life lives. They can't live in it. So red tides are actually very bad. Very bad. And they acidify. I hate saying that word. Fidicate or whatever the fuck it is. It's bad. There's nothing good about red tides. Nothing. I was reading a report that I was going to show you guys, and I'm going to do a geoengineering thing tomorrow at my regular time, like around noonish for me. So 7 hours earlier. Tomorrow I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a full geoengineering thing over all this stuff because I found at least 2 or 3 reports about this when they're talking about it, and they really make ocean fertilization where they dump iron in the water to get this phytoplankton bloom, because their idea is the more there is, the more CO2 they'll grab. And yeah, they're not just letting them sink to the bottom, they're capturing them so they can extract more oil. Yeah, even with that. It's they made it seem as if what happens is all this phytoplankton happens. Oh my God, there's millions more. Guess what that means? More food for prey. Aquatic life is supported by red tides, and I heard that and I wanted to punch my screen. And that's media. That's just came out in a report. I'm gonna show it tomorrow. It's insane to me though. Like that's the kind of shit I'm arguing. Like I get what Barney's always been saying. I need to look at it from both sides, and I'm definitely looking at it a little bit more objectively. But the reality of it is there's a lot of shit going on that has nothing to do with objective looking. Red tides are bad, period. So if anyone talks to Minister Sobriety, let him know, bring it on. It will be fun. And then I wanted to talk about somebody else. I know a few of you will know exactly who I'm talking about, and this will be the only time I talk about it without him here. There's a man, his name is Curve Pimp. I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about. At least somebody that's hearing me or on this panel does know. I know this because I met him. I saw him at somebody here's stream. I don't remember who it was though. But he decided to talk shit in someone's server. That person made that aware of me to me, and he said he would crush me in a debate, and he dared me to respond. So guess what I did? I responded, and he hasn't responded since. So anyone knows who he is, let him know that I am eager to speak with him over the topics that we discussed on that server. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I noticed where you had a bit of a chat.
Fuck moron.
You are
Danger, Will Robinson.
Say it again. Try it again.
I got Gleam as just an idiot. I mean, what the hell?
What I believe is he likes to talk, and he won't come on the panel. I've seen him. He's a talker in the chat all the time.
Oh yeah, Sean G. The downward force is the potential energy stored in the system.
Describe the energy.
And you dropping it in an electrostatic potential gradient.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't work that one out. That's not a word. Does he want mayonnaise with that word salad?
Then that would also mean an object would fall at a different rate at 5 feet than at 10 feet and at 15 feet, but it doesn't.
Yeah, and it also means that if you pulled a rock down from Mount Everest and let it go, it'd fly up to the top.
Yeah, because you're putting negative potential energy into it.
Right. It does. If you don't have gravity, you don't have a vector. The vector,
damn!
The vector is its origin. Its origin is up there.
Sean, that was fucking good, dog. That was awesome. I didn't even think about that one. If you took a rock from Mount Everest, I would go to Mount Everest just for that. I'd be like, hey guys, I grabbed this rock at Mount Everest. You ready to see what happens? I would love to let that thing go and watch it go up. I would become a flat earther. I would hail over any flat earther. I'd be like, all hell, Nathan. I would do everything. I would put every dollar I made into Nathan's pocket if that happened.
I reckon you'd be a better flat earther now.
I'd be the best. I wouldn't care what anyone said but flat earth. I would regurgitate it I would go into debates and I would say that stuff. And when people said something different, I'd go, nuh-uh. And then when they ask me, how do I know? I say, for reasons. But all I know is that when I let go of this rock that I got from Antarctica, and yeah, I got a whole bag of them. I had to strap them down to the ground because the bag was about to fly up in the air. But when I let go of this rock, all the negative potential energy that I have put into it, this thing's gonna shoot up at 9.8 meters per second squared because that's what happens every time. And
Gleam,
watch.
please don't go storm Area 51. Please don't do it, Gleam. You
Don't do
won't
that.
make it.
We could strap those rocks into the back of the rockets now, and that'd help with their launches.
Yeah, they would have grab a bunch of them from the moon. 'Cause that'd be easy to get to the moon. It just hang on, it'll get there.
Hey, Maxwell, is your
Yeah.
icon animated in any way, shape, or form?
That would be cool if it did.
No way.
Okay.
Ooh,
My
Sean,
eyes are playing tricks on me.
hey, Sean, one less hit, my friend.
It looks
One
like
less.
it looks like the soul of the phone is moving.
Oh yeah. Hey, well, yeah, hey, my bad. 2 less hits.
It's got to be an optical illusion.
No, just 2 less hits. Trust me.
It looks like it's fucking
I
It's
know.
moving right now. I swear.
Yeah. 3 less hits, Sean. 3.
Well, did you notice my blue ball with the flag on? It's actually spinning.
Oh, stop that, Terry. That's messed up. Because then there's something wrong with me if it's not moving. Some of these things that we are going over, and trust me, I'm learning every day. So trust me, I don't know it all, but
Well, we're
Man.
always learning. Even in mine and Sean's age, we're still learning.
yeah, but what were they thinking? Like when you guys were picking up those first rocks with the dinosaur, what did you guys think it was? I just wanted, like, what did you guys think that downward force was?
I don't think we were thinking about that back
we're
then.
we're like pterodactyls, like just able to fly because of reasons and
We're
stuff.
just trying to keep away from the T-Rexes.
Okay, I see.
Well,
Like-
Orville was a genius.
I know. I mean, to think of popcorn that good. Oh my god.
He always brought the beer.
I was just thinking, man, a man that can make popcorn like that, he should be marveled.
Hey, you could put a potentiometer on a rock and then it would have potential energy. And you could turn it up or down to whatever energy you wanted it.
What, did he say anything about the negative potential energy? Did he say anything about that yet? That'd be so awesome. I would love to. I'm telling you right now, if that's a thing, I think we all need to go get some rocks and watch that shit happen.
I got some bricks. Will I do?
No, you're upside down, Terry. It won't work for you.
Oh, sorry.
And how do I know you're upside down? Because every NASA photo shows me upside or right side up, and you upside down.
No, that's because they don't turn the world around the other way.
I think Rosie Perez.
Sorry for ya.
I think Rosie Perez would ask him, "Why you so dumb?"
I think so. I gotta get some. All I got is, like I said, all I got is the only button I have is my trigger button, and I'm not triggered, so it shouldn't count, right? Oh, no, I got unicorn magic, like unicorn farts. That's my favorite. That's on screen right now. You guys can't see it, so if I used it when you were talking, you would have no idea.
What's a unicorn fart smell like?
Rainbows.
I'd like to think Starburst.
Newborn kitten.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Fruity
Of course, I
Pebbles.
don't know. And then, like, if I get triggered, then it's just this one. You guys can't see it, but that's my trigger one, and I'll start using it.
Waffles.
And what's the sound of a rainbow?
Actually, it'd be an electrostatic sound because it's made by the electro. The light would have a.
Wait. A unicorn fart sounds like this. There There
It
you
would
go.
be methane, right?
No, not from a unicorn.
Well, they'd have. What would they have in their gut to create a fart?
Starburst and Skittles.
Well, that would be hydrogen, carbon dioxide,
Extra fluorite 5 or something. yellow.
dioxide.
I think it's yellow 10.
If they ate any grain, it would react with the
What the
sugars
fuck, Sean? It's a
in
fucking
their gut.
Sean.
Create
Sean. God damn, Sean. We're talking about fucking unicorns,
It
dude.
wouldn't be flammable. They
You
wouldn't.
no, Sean.
It'd be
It's
carbon dioxide.
dude. You're talking reality. We're talking unicorns, dude. No,
Well-
their farts would not be methane. Why? Because why the fuck would I
No,
want a
they'd be
unicorn
carbon
fart to be?
dioxide.
No, it wouldn't.
You
It's
like, yeah,
it's
because,
it's Skittle water.
yeah, same way as like beer.
Yeah,
Beer,
but
sugar and yeast.
you're thinking no,
makes
but
carbon dioxide.
okay, but then they're drinking exactly what they need to piss out beer. That's
Okay.
what a unicorn does. A unicorn is not a horse.
Well, how does it fart?
But it's unicorn butt. What is wrong with
How
you?
does anyone fart?
Yeah,
No,
what-
it's because you have stuff in your gut that makes the gas to fart. You don't create gas in your body.
unicorns
Stuff in your
do
body,
when they eat
right?
Skittles and Starbursts.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, of course it does.
Okay.
That makes a lot more sense than stuff burns up in your stomach and creates a gas and it's toxic. Ooh. The fucking unicorn that flies. Come on, man.
They create all the flat earthers evidence.
Yeah, you just get a whiff of that. I'm a flat earther. you never experienced a unicorn fart. That's why you don't know.
No.
But when you do, oh, you know when you smell it.
I bet.
And it's hard to kick too. It's free. It's free. You
know
don't even have
I
to pay.
smell it.
You don't even have to pay for it. You just hit.
And
You just
you'll
go like
know
this.
when I smell it.
Look. You type flat Earth, and then in the filter you go to live, and then just listen. And you just listen and go, and just sniff it all in, and bam, more unicorn fart for you.
I want Pete Shea to ask one question or answer one question. Who is phone?
What?
Who is phone? I want
What?
Pete Shea to answer that.
I don't even know what the hell you just asked. I couldn't even answer that.
Well,
What does that
I want
mean?
Pete to answer. I
Okay,
think Pete would probably understand.
if I mute the Hangout, can you tell me what that meant? Because I'm gonna. Okay, they can't hear you. So. Okay, yeah, but they can't hear you right now. I need to know because I'm confused and it hurts my brain. Oh, okay. They can hear you now. That was amazing. Yeah, that's crazy. Thank you, though. I mean, Sean, to tell us that is amazing, man. I mean, that takes courage. Wow. I mean, we're not going to say anything, we promise. But damn, thank you. Yeah. You don't repeat yourself because now everyone can hear you, Sean. And
Okay.
that's that was some deep and profound stuff you just said that none of us are going to say because wow. Man, I don't even know. Wow. Whew, I'm sweating now. Can't believe you said that. That's crazy. Trying to think of what else. No, I don't want to share any of these. Oh, well, I can always. I'll save that for him later because I found a map of all the current red tides in the world. It's always funny how he doesn't like. I don't even know what he was talking about. Talking about menace to sobriety. Got me all confused. And then Schrodinger's cat. I'm gonna have to debate that guy because he really he like brushes off geoengineering like it's freaking chemtrails, and it pisses me off.
He just likes hearing himself talk.
I brought it up yesterday, and he just like blew it off like it was cloud seeding, or even made cloud seeding sound like it was useless. I'm like, wow, dude, it hurts.
I want Schrodinger's cat and Brenda to argue.
See, I would have Brenda in the Hangout of Mania. Were you here for that, Max? When I explained that?
Uh-uh.
Okay, so what I want to do it'd be like the next challenge. It can't be a winner or I guess you can, pretend to win, like pick who you think's gonna last. But basically, all the talkers of flat Earth, globe Earth discussion, the rumpus, Shawn Hawkins, you'd be in there. Who else did I name? Like flat Earth data,
Stingray.
Stingray. You see, you weren't even here and you say Stingray. Everyone keeps saying Stingray. Like, just the people that the talkers, the ones that have a lot to say. And if you put them all on the hangout, it would be just chaos, most likely. Yeah. And that's not just in one person. That'd be everyone just because they want to be heard.
If you put Slick in there, he'll wait till the very end and then mop everybody up at the end.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's what happens. That's what happens. But basically, it'd be because at some point, everyone gets to a point where they got to go. They got to just get the F off that panel, and that would be the elimination. So it'd be like, who would be the last one to survive? Hangout Mania, like WrestleMania.
That'd be a good idea. I don't know how many flat earthers you'll get in there though.
Oh, for that? I see, that's the best part. The people that I would pick, the people that deserve to be in Hangout Mania, are the types that would love to be in Hangout Mania. Because they got something to say. And it's gonna be fun because I like this. Like, who else did I was thinking? I want Chemo to be in there. Chemo does a lot where he just that just has to be his room. And I don't even know if Shawn should be in there because he actually he has to be heard, but like his outburst is the only reason it comes to my mind. But like at the same time, it's like it's not relevant to what I want. Yeah, Shawn, you're not in it anymore.
No, I don't rant anymore.
Yeah, I know. No,
channel.
Realistically, that the rant you had, the one that the world heard, that one's the only thing I can think of. But that was amazingly funny. Like you had to laugh your ass off on that.
Yeah, I did.
And I think, and here's the best part: like everyone got it third hand. I was there for it. I didn't know what was going on, but Stingray came and got me, and I entered, and it was in the middle of it all, and I was just like, "What am I hearing?" I'm like, "Oh!" I muted myself and just sat back and was just like, "Oh, oh my god, this is happening right now."
I lost my voice for like a day because I can give myself hoarse.
I'm not even sure what was worse, the rage you were feeling, or how nonchalant Father Data and Rumpus were the whole freaking time. Like they acted like you were not there. I was like, oh my god. And then
what happened was, I think when I yelled the first time, it like my computer shut my mic down.
Yeah, the whole first part, you could tell your compressor was turning on and off. Yeah, because you yell and like click click, my bad. It would be on and off, and then after a while, it looked like you backed it off because then you had the long ones.
I didn't touch it. It did it all by itself.
Oh, okay.
Said, okay, you're not going to yell at me anymore. Fuck off.
But it was still loud though. But it wasn't like it didn't blow the mics out though. That's what it was doing.
Trying to put my microphone in my headphones.
Oh,
that's what I was trying to do. It didn't work.
It was amazing. Yeah, you're not in the Hangout Mania. You're not allowed to.
Watch.
But I do want to do the separate one. Would be like see, I don't even know what to call it anymore. It's got to be like. I want it to be like the freakouts, the freakouts and on it, in this community. Like Shawn would be a freak out of it, but like I named off like Jibby. Jibby is one of those guys that like for no reason will just go off on somebody and have a rant about that person like there's no tomorrow for no reason, and I would nominate him, something like that. It may be a little bit.
Name is that guy's name?
Yeah, Jibby over at I know him from Ubers. He's now on Flat Earth Dude or something like that. He's always over there.
He's been on Kenny 5G.
Yeah. That's like, I think that place is like the new spot for him. They keep bouncing around.
him and
And,
Fred.
and snack to the earth. He's an asshole. I'd pick him because they just talk shit to talk shit because they like talking shit.
Oh yeah, and it's like most of them are just like half smashed every night.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just,
Oh yeah.
it's like a southern guy has like a southern accent. He's just half hammered.
Oh yeah. It's bad. Yeah, and I mean, I went in when they were over at Uber's. I went over there, and me and Uber, we're good friends. Like he's a good dude. I would never disrespect him, and he would never disrespect me. I get over there and like I'm just like, "What's up, guys?" And we were talking about I think strata balloons or something like that. And out of nowhere, they just started going off on me. And I'm like, "Hey, first of all, I know what you guys are doing, and I appreciate it if you guys have an adult conversation." And they just started railing in, and it was like, Uber, what the fuck? And Uber tried to calm them down, but they wouldn't. So I said, okay. So I just laced into him and took off. I was like, dude, I'm not. You guys are dicks. Why? I'm not gonna have a conversation with you if you're gonna be a dick about it. I wasn't there to be an asshole. I don't like being an asshole. I hate when people trigger me. Makes me do stupid shit.
Too bad Gleam doesn't get on chat and or voice because he's a good troll on chat. I mean,
Yeah,
He's been on a couple of times on different people's.
like I've seen him on Nathan's before, but that was a while ago. So I don't know how often he gets on.
He's been on Non Sequitur a couple times. Team Skeptic, I think maybe.
Hey,
he's
Shawn,
been around.
do you know if Quantum Eraser has ever served in the military?
Oh, I have no idea.
Because I had a conversation with him again, and it's always fun having it with him because he is a dumbass. I said they were talking about Coriolis, and I wish Chris had stayed because he'd have to cede to Coriolis because I showed him during our debate the field manuals of snipers in sniper training of where they show in the manuals rotation for Earth, Coriolis, and right after that, Riley even came on and said Coriolis was real. So I was pretty happy about that debate. Mm-hmm. It was in the Chris Berry debate. If you guys go in the archives, you'll see it. But more importantly, I go into what is it called? Pseudoscience, blah 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 blah, on Discord, and we were talking about it during the Nathan show because people chatting in there on the text area, and we're talking about it, and I start showing all the little screenshots of the paragraphs where they talk about, the rotation of Earth, Coriolis, like just everything, and everyone was like, "Oh, show me this, show me this." I was showing them right every time they'd ask. And then Quantum Eraser comes in and goes, "I served in the military, and Coriolis was never taught. It is bullshit." And I said to him, "Have you ever shot at 1,000-yard range?" And here's the thing: I worked on base. I actually built some at least probably 20 or 30 ranges. The berms that they sit on and the targets are at. I built those berms, and I'm gonna tell you right now, out of the 30 that I built, I've only built 2 with 1,000-yard range. Why? Because they're not training every soldier to ever shoot that far. Yeah. It's rare to see 1,000-yard range because you're not going to have soldiers shooting that far.
No.
So
you will have artillery.
Yeah, but they shoot into canyons and mountains and shit.
Right.
But I asked Quantum Eraser this, and he flipped out. So what I now started to do is I go in there, piss him off by saying some, realistic facts, and then I leave. So I have no idea what he said after, and I know it pisses him off because I just leave and don't respond. The guy's a fucking idiot. So I figured, because he can trigger me with those scripted things he does, but then I realized, well, you can just piss him off by not letting him get to you. So I go in there and I'll type the facts, and he'll say, "Well, carpet muncher, this is this," and I'll go this and that, and I'll just leave. I don't even see what he says. I don't care.
Is he calling you a lesbian? What?
No, did I say carpet muncher?
Yeah,
I did. That's because he calls people crayon muncher, and I'm sorry, that's the way my brain works.
I learned.
But yes, I am.
I learned a really good way to trigger R1.
Oh, just tell him D&D is not real.
You post a comment in his chat and then delete it right afterwards. He can't see it, and he thinks you're talking about it. And then it turns the shit out. He said he'll block you he'll ban you for doing that.
Ooh, I am happy.
Do with a sock account. Just hammer him with sock
Okay.
accounts.
Hang on, guys, because I gotta yell at Carlos.
Do it with two people. Do it with two stock accounts and just like talk to each other.
Hey, Carlos.
What's up?
The other day you said that you were gonna give me a parts list, and I've been waiting for 2 days, and
I totally dropped the ball, man. I'm sorry.
And I went to that website, and I don't know what to get, and I could have had it by now.
What website did you go to?
Huh?
What website did you go to?
The tiny, what is it? Tiny, I gotta see the website again. Tiny something.
Tiny Whoop?
Tiny Whoop, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, you don't have to go to that store specifically.
What's this? Okay, I need to know what motors, what fans or the fins, or I just know I need to, because remember I told you I want to be able to fly this in the wind. Well, this trumps everything. I want to fly it in the wind, and I need to know the parts I need to do this. Because I was thinking I need to upgrade the arms, and you said that's easy. I'll give you the parts list, and I could have got it by now, and I haven't been able to get the whole video. I swear, I'm staring at it right now, and I took it apart on purpose, just because I was like, I'm not going to put it back together, because Carlos is going to come through, and I'm going to order these parts, and I'm going to have a badass drone by the weekend. It's Monday. It's Tuesday.
You may not get 2-day shipping on some of the websites, but that's besides the point. I'll get them to you, man. I'm sorry.
All I got to do is know the parts. I will find a place. I'll get it from 12 different places if I have to. Because definitely the whole range thing is the issue I have. I need my whole stream just took over by drone stuff because that's awesome. So I need to. Yeah. I need you to give me that information.
I'll take care of you, man. My bad. I've been busy, but
No. I don't care how busy. This trumps all. Like if your child comes and goes like, I'm hungry, go stop. I have to get Shawn these parts list first, and then you can feed your children.
Well, my wife's over here laughing over what you're saying.
I just saying I need these parts, man. I need them, Carlos. I need them, man.
I will get on that computer before going to bed and send them to you.
The drone is literally it's in pieces. It's looking at me all sad. See?
I didn't tell you to open it up. But anyway,
the dog's upset too. I told him Carlos is on, and look, that's what it sounds like now. Thanks, Carlos.
Well,
you've upset everyone. Drop the ball, man. Drop the ball. Now the Earth is flat.
Anyway.
Why? Reasons.
Flame go full.
Man, I'm gonna tell you now. When I get this drone up and running, it's going to be badass. And then that's also the other thing. I found a couple of those the Phantom Standard.
The
cheapest one I found so far was $225. He said it had crashed a few times, but it also came with a extra one that no longer flew, is what the description said. I talked to the guy. He says it flies good. I'm guessing money. The battery is probably getting weak on it or something, and that's why he wants to get rid of it, or that's what's wrong with it in that regards. So
yeah,
I'm gonna talk to him probably tomorrow.
Get a battery for about $50.
Yeah. I would buy an extra battery anyway, because you got to buy enough batteries that you're never having to not fly. I learned that a long time ago. When I used to have that RC truck, I used to have like 10 batteries because I was never gonna have to go home because of that.
Well, I knew you'd be able to get one very cheap. Cause, that's good, man.
And even then, I'm still looking around because I saw there was one for $350, but I mean it came with a case, a controller, like a universal controller, and it had enough upgraded stuff that I could see that it wasn't the stock. But he considered it in the description as just as good as the professional, I think he said, but it's all upgraded parts he did himself, so it's not the professional. So
gotcha. Yeah,
stuff like that. But
I don't know
realization,
about that, but
well,
anyway.
that's the thing. That's what I'm looking around for. And if I could
Yeah.
just work on this one I have now, then I could really shop around and have time to shop around comfortably and
Well,
find one.
what's keeping you from working on that one? Oh, that's right.
I need the
didn't send you
parts
link.
list. Yeah. Damn.
I'll get on it, man. I'm sorry.
Or better yet, for the motors, as long as I stay in the same parameter, 6 millimeter, blah 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 blah, I can use any engine I want or any motor I want. I'm sorry, right?
Yeah.
In theory.
Motor, propeller. Yeah.
In theory.
In theory.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, in theory.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna.
Just gotta have enough juice, to be able to have a decent flight time. But anyway,
Nah.
I get on it, man.
I'm gonna get the biggest motor, so the second I turn it on, I get one flight, and then the battery's zapped. But that first takeoff, it's going to be fast.
You're gonna punch it, go low Earth orbit.
That's why I just want to spend so much money that the first flight, it takes off and then drops and shatters.
Yeah, that's happened before, actually.
Yeah, that's why I bought an RC plane about 15 years ago. My first one. I took off. I took off and I thought it was beautiful. This thing cost me about $375, wooden. Oh yeah, biplane had to be wooden, cheap as. Yeah, it's one of those, ready to flies.
Yeah.
I take off and oh my God, I'm a pilot. I took off on the first try. I get turned around. What? I can turn. I got this. A little bit more elevation. Nice. Wait, did you learn about air current? No, you didn't, Shawn. Because the air current came in and that thing flipped upside down. And that thing had no direction because every direction I went, it only pointed down more. I watched that plane go from 100 feet to 0 in 3 seconds. And I was so pissed because I remember going, if I ever break a wing, I'll fix it, replace it. It looked like someone had a trash bag full of popsicle sticks and he just threw them. I was so angry and I was like, nope. Not this one. Never again.
That's
So
the
then,
most fun. That's the most fun way of proving gravity, Shawn.
I hate you. And so I bought one of those really.
Yeah, you just gotta start with the cheap one or
I didn't do that. I didn't. Like, you guys started with the cheap ones and he just took off. What's up, Jose? It says flat Earth in the title. No flat Earthers. What's happening? Actually, Chris was here. You just missed it because you don't care. And I can't make flat Earthers get on my panel. That's called hostage.
Fish guy said he was gonna show up.
What? No.
Well, I love Fish guy.
I hate fish.
Fish guy said he was coming.
I hate fish. I hate fish with a passion.
I like catfish.
I hate catfish too. I caught a catfish once and I grabbed it. Bad idea. Yeah, I didn't know they had spikes. I didn't know.
Oh yeah, they do.
And then I watch TV and you see those people that put their hands in the hole and then they bite their hand. I'm like, you gotta be a dumb person to do that. Like the dumbest people do that shit.
Yeah,
the dumb because
can take you underwater and hold you there.
You want to know the better part about that? It is the same water in the same habitat that snapping turtle live in.
Yeah.
Figure that one out.
I've been bit by a snapper.
Yeah.
The longest catfish I ever caught was 3 foot.
No, I don't need to catch a 3-foot fish. You know, Vaughn's or Kroger's or any grocery store, they got fish there, and you don't have to risk your life for it. Jesus Christ.
That's true. It's true. Yeah, but it's just the catching, the doing it.
I'm never doing a noodle thing.
Oh
This
no,
way,
I never do that.
The one thing in my life that I do that is, see, the worst thing I do in my life that is dangerous is I splunk. If you don't know what that is, go look it up. That's about as dangerous as I get. After that, I mean, now you're talking into like diving and doing that, and I would never do that. So that's my limitation. Like I would never go diving through caves. No, that's not happening. Air runs out, you're done. Never gonna happen. anyone. Splunking is caving. I find deep caves and I explore them. And some of those caves, you're in a deep crawl and there's nothing, there's no room, and you're just sliding with no idea where you're going.
What was her name?
You can name her anything you want. It's always an adventure. Yeah. But yeah, I mean I've been in those situations, and the idea that the second you have bad thoughts, you get in a panic. Well, as a adrenaline junkie, my issue is I get about halfway in, I go, if there was an earthquake, and my heart gets all pumping, and then my little adrenaline meter hits red, and I get all like euphoric. I'm like, yeah. So I got issues with that. I'm actually about to go do that pretty soon. I'm gonna go backpacking over out the caves. Yeah, see, no one understands. No one splunks. I've said, yeah. Not very many people know about it, because you say splunking to them, and they're like, "Do I even want to know?"
No,
But
don't worry, Sean. I do something just as stupid. I like to go urban exploring in abandoned houses and things of that nature.
oh man, that's just dangerous. Like, you're gonna end up in someone's house with a gun, or a redneck with a house with a gun, or just a redneck.
These places are long since abandoned. The worst thing I've ever run across is there was obviously somebody who had been squatting there a couple weeks previous.
They actually used to have the problem with that out in Death Valley. So people don't know, Death Valley used to be an old mining area. And like, to the tone of, there are thousands of mines in Death Valley. And then there's a lot of washes like that are made into roads, yada, yada, yada. But if you go explore off the main path, you'll end up running into one or two of these things. And when you do, sometimes you run into squatters, and these squatters are usually labbing it up, if you know what I mean. They're making stuff, and you don't want to run. Yeah, then you don't want to run into them. And so that was a big issue out in Death Valley. People would end up finding these abandoned mines and factories or whatever, and we're getting shot. And that was a big issue out there, because I used to off-road a lot. Yeah, Grizz, like, I've been down a few. Up here, where I live in San Diego, the closest mine shafts we have are Julian. I'm pretty sure everyone in San Diego knows it. It's in our mountains, and I actually climbed up one, if that makes any sense. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it was probably the closest I've ever dived in a mine shaft. All the wood that was rotted on the support broke, so I couldn't climb back down. I had to figure that out. It was fun. I actually have pictures from that mine. Maybe I'll show them. We'll see. No one has anything to say? Guys, just feeling all alone and shit. You guys muted yourselves. No one's talking.
Yeah, caveman.
Everyone's like, "You're ranting." No, I'm not ranting. No one's talking. Huh?
I am streaming on my channel through Streamlabs. And it's not buffering. The way I set it up, and I didn't know. Wait. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. OBS has a auto configuration wizard.
Yep.
So I ran that, and then I opened up Streamlabs and I hit import from OBS.
Yeah.
It set it up for me.
Okay. So it was something in your settings.
Yeah. So
that's what I was going to try to run with you, because for me, and I get OBS to me isn't the simpler way of doing it. It's just that OBS, or Streamlab OBS, is OBS, but because they're not OBS, they just add bells and whistles that make you want to use it. But when it comes down to the technical sense of it, it's not the same thing as OBS. When you start adding a lot to it, it kind of confuses their system, because the people that use that on a regular basis is connecting to Twitch, which is really integrated with Streamlab. Like, everything Streamlab did was to integrate with Twitch. YouTube's an option for them, so it's harder to get everything right with them when it comes to YouTube and live streaming.
Yeah, I've got I've got that music. I got a music player on Streamlabs. That's pretty cool.
See, I don't want that because if I use that, then every one of my things get copyright strikes on them,
No,
or the soft
this
ones.
is copyright safe stuff. This is all artists that do it for the they get your subscription pays them.
Okay, well, yeah, because I just found a website. What is it called? It's called.
It's a subscription through OBS.
Okay.
Through Streamlabs.
Oh, okay. This one is a regular website, but it integrated with it. I don't know what it's called.
Is Streamlabs free?
Yeah.
Streamlabs is free. The plugin wasn't. Plugin's like $4.95 a month.
I was playing around with OBS and YouTube the other day, and I ended up with a 12-minute video. It was live. It all went live, so I titled it "Flat Earth Proof."
Well, right on.
I can't find it, but it's damn, what was it called?
But it's 12 minutes of a blank screen, so.
Where is it?
So I'd like to see them debunk that.
Call me dumb, but I always like the black postcard that's like San Francisco at night. They had the one it's just gray and it's London at noon or something like that.
I was going to try to work out if I could put a green screen on the back of it and say this is not CGI.
Right on.
I don't know where I put it, but it's a website that basically I have a subscription to it. Like I think it was $15 a month, but all the songs that I've been playing after the stream are copyright safe, so I can use all of them, and that's the ones I get to start using for my intro. So if anything I download from them right now is copyright safe.
Okay.
Then after I have the subscription with them, I can use anything that I downloaded when I was using it. I just can't use anything else. I can't download anything else. So for life, I have the download. So and at least 10,000 songs on there, at least.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, it's good. I'll get the link for you. I gotta find it.
The one I use is Pretzel Rocks.
I think it's something starts with an E. I need to find out because I wanted to go back there.
I need to integrate. I've got a Patreon account finally. I need to integrate that into OBS.
You just gotta get the little widget for it.
Yeah. There's a thing where you can configure it and link your account to it and stuff.
The hell is it? I don't remember what it was called, too. That's the worst part. I was just there. So through my history.
By the way, anyone gonna watch Spurs on Ranties tomorrow?
Probably not.
Well, depends what time of day it is for me.
I can't stand that.
It'll be late enough for you and Aussie, I think.
See, for me, the problem is that I hear Spurs a lot more than you guys. I hear them every day. I can hear them every day for 5.5 hours if I wanted to. I just hate it so much that I don't. Over at the server where I call it practices his crap.
I reckon he does. He does.
So I hear everything you guys hear. I hear it 3 times, and it makes more and more it becomes more and more nonsense every time he says it. You guys just don't get to hear all the crap he goes through to get to where you hear.
Well, what about JM Truth proving the globe and stuff the other day on Ranty?
I didn't. Awesome. Did he really?
I didn't see that. I'm gonna have to watch.
Sounded like it.
Yeah, I wouldn't pass him.
The guy they had on, it was Roy Hammer or something like that. Ron Hammer. He was like some pastor, and he sounded exactly like JM Truth. I mean, to the T. People are like, people on Discord going, "Is this JM? What the hell?"
Wow.
I mean, maybe JM is now a pastor in addition to everything else that he is.
No, I've seen.
That's where he got it
I
from.
looked them up, and they look nothing alike. So it's different people. But yeah, he just sounded uncannily like JM Truth.
Hasn't JM Truth got an encyclopedia full of things he's done?
We hammered him today.
Ah, god damn it.
He
What's up, fish?
The fish guy.
JM Truth.
Somebody caught the fish.
Yeah.
Hey, fish. How you doing?
Sean.
Yes, sir.
I'm good.
Oh.
No, the other Sean. Your lighting, dude. That looks cool. You look like an 1860 10 type photo. How do you do sepia? Yeah.
That's just what it looks like.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Like, I'm pretty sure you're like just black and white, because I seen a picture of you and you were just black and white. So
I think
he might be from the past and he's sending it through from to the future.
Is he Australian?
No.
No.
We're the future and you're the past.
Oh, it is like black and white. That's red. You can see red.
No, not you. You're like in like the Western times old.
Yeah. Well, you and the mat on the picture behind you and the wall color and everything. It's
just your color. It's just your color saturation. It's just not right.
Yeah, it's perfect 10 type.
I just don't have enough light. If I have more light, it kicks in the dynamic range on this camera.
No. We don't want to see you any better.
Yeah.
Just fine the way you are.
It was a good touchy saying, and then sit back. He said, "Sit. Hey, we notice you're in a chair. Sit in it."
I heard what you were going to say then, Blue. You said about when you said about the put a better light on. You were going to say turn the light off and so it's
Does that light have a dimmer? Turn it down a notch.
like the kid is in the elevator, like in an apartment building, in New York. And kid's riding the elevator, and the lady steps on. He goes, "Hey, lady, can I smell your breath?" She goes, "You most certainly can." He goes, "Wow, it must be your pussy then."
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that just happened. Oh. I didn't even expect it at all. That just happened. Oh, that was like a kick in the face. I didn't expect it. I didn't even think it could happen. That came out of nowhere. Damn. I don't even know what do you say after that?
Yeah.
How many flat earthers in the panel?
There you go.
Told me,
you
told me, Jose told me there was a circle jerk going, so I said, I'm a flat earther. Let me jump in for a minute.
Yeah, you're a flat earther. Yep. Jose.
Well, we're not. This isn't a circle jerk anime night, so fantasies ain't gonna work.
This is a circle jerk, huh? Well, shit, we need a pivot man. Who can be? We got to find a flurf.
We have one, fish guy.
Where's Chris?
Nah, fish guy. I like fish guy.
What? Blue, don't say that.
I like the fish guy.
I hate fish. Everything about him. He's like, he doesn't even speak right.
Fish is like food. Fish is like already ready for you to eat it.
No, I'm talking about like that fish guy.
Oh. I was talking about that.
I don't like the fish guy.
You gotta like dig it up and rinse it off. Fish are rinsing themselves off for you.
See, I want to make the fish guy a concaver, so that way he can talk concave with Jason, and then they'd leave us alone because no one wants to hear concave.
Yeah. Water tells us it's flat.
No, water does not tell you it's flat.
Yeah,
Prove it.
I really want to know where they got the idea that water is flat when water is flat at every individual point, not in between 2 points.
Yeah, it's level, and you can have flat and not level, so it can't be the same.
Swimming pool's water's flat.
It can appear flat.
Yeah,
but it's really level.
Water in my cup is contained and it lays flat when it's at rest.
Not level.
And then I feel the sink or the toilet when it's a rest is contained and is flat. Also on a lake, that's the biggest scale. What's the difference on the sea on the beach?
Well, your cup. If you pour your cup very slow, you can witness your cup staying level. You know the top, the edge, top of the water will stay level. But you can't make it flat at an angle. The water you can't, but you can make a flat line at
You
an
can make
angle.
it concave if you fill it right up to the top.
Yeah, but we talk about the bigger scale. Let's say a pool, a swimming pool.
Well, Fishka, even if you say that is a bigger scale, it's still not a big enough scale to recognize things.
And you wouldn't be able to
So
measure it.
how will you know what if their behavior is different on the sea, on the open sea, when you cannot manipulate the scale and test it a few miles area, so you can manipulate it and see if it's concave, convex, flat, or what it is. How do you know that then?
Through evidence.
Measurement.
I mean, I've been looking for evidence. Who can manipulate an area of, I don't know, 20 miles square area of water? How can you manipulate this?
By
manipulate
watching
the
it.
water. Manipulate
Watch
the
it.
water or manipulate the experiment.
It can be manipulated. You know what? If you, I don't know if there's any place on Earth, maybe a canal. Okay, a canal, let's say 2 or 3 miles long. So the canal is built straight, block by block, slab by slab of concrete. And if you fill it up to the top, I bet it's gonna just pour to the sides. It's gonna be just the water just gonna be sprinkling all along the 2 mile stretch. And then if you lower the level down, open the pipes, if you lower it down 6 inches, you're gonna measure 6 inches in one end, 6 inches every 20 feet until you go all along the 1 mile, and it's gonna be the same height. So it's flat because the water doesn't bend. Come on.
Well, here's the thing.
It
The
doesn't bend.
water's going to be parallel to the surface it's on, obviously.
And where you're measuring, you're down where you're measuring down to see if it's changed is it's from the center of the earth is overall where you're coming from. That's your down.
That's about
Everywhere
about
is that
4,000 miles. About
yeah,
4,000 miles deep.
but see the difference is that wherever you started at and wherever you measured over and over and over again, it's 6 inches is only relative to that point.
Yeah, but if we consider the center of the Earth, that's roughly 4,000 miles. Yeah.
I guess it could be, sure.
If you want to believe, I mean, everything is being measured from the center of the Earth out, and you say level is parallel to the surface of the.
I haven't heard that
circumference of the Earth.
I haven't heard the 4,000 feet in indoctrination camp yet.
It's 3,958.8. I mean, it's close enough.
Have you seen me make water conform to the outside of a sphere?
No, I haven't.
Oh, Fish, I have a question for you.
What's this?
Yeah. So while he's getting that, can you explain a lunar eclipse?
Ooh.
I haven't thought of this too much. I mean, I theorize on what happens up in the sky.
Ready?
I'm looking, Shawn. Yeah, I'm looking. Let me take a look at
A
Shawn.
live experiment here.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Ready?
Yep.
Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Prove nothing, but
It was water conforming to the outside of a sphere.
so I can theorize on this lunar eclipse. Let's say they are roughly the same height. Let's say the sun is, I don't know, 2 or 3 miles further than the moon. They're roughly the same size, and the moon, the sun, just hold on. They vary in heights. So sometimes the sun is higher than the moon. Sometimes the moon is higher than the sun. And whenever an eclipse happens, one of the bodies go in the front of the other one. That's it.
I said lunar. So how would that explain how the Earth shadow blocks is shown on the moon to block the moon? How does that happen on a flat Earth?
Oh, what I explained was a solar eclipse. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it would. I mean, that's how you would explain one for you, but that's why I asked for a lunar, because that way we know the Earth is actually in play.
Yeah, it's just a special kind of luminary in the sky, which it just changes phases. I don't know how it works. If it's holographic, if it's some kind of program, if it's some kind of intelligence body up floating in the sky. I don't know how. And it just whenever an eclipse is gonna happen, it just changes.
Then
Just give us the eclipse.
so then how do we know that if it's invisible?
I got no
Oh,
idea what.
it's magic. It's magic.
Oh, all right, Maxwell. Well, I believe in magic, and I hope you do. That was a pun, just in case anyone.
It's magic. He's fooling you, and you don't like it.
It's
Spurs impersonation.
it just.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like, with an accent.
1 second.
Yeah, I really don't know how to explain lunar eclipse. I look a little bit on what theories
okay.
flat Earth can explain it, and I just cannot. I mean.
Okay, well, just so you understand, it's impossible.
There's the other one too, where the Earth blocks the sun on the opposite side of the moon, and it can't be. That's even worse to try to explain.
Yeah, no. In the heliocentric model is explainable. Is modelable. It works. But then there's this that you got that
No,
I
but
don't
then.
trust it.
No, but then.
But
Hang on. No, but then. No, no, but then.
And then.
No, but then.
And then.
And no, but then.
So on
See,
flat Earth,
you're only cool if you knew what the hell that was.
I really don't. In flat Earth, there's two explanations. There could be these invisible bodies that people holler. What do you say?
Magically see.
Whatever.
If it's invisible, it wouldn't do anything.
You wouldn't see it.
But then there's one that is being documented. I'm on my phone. I cannot share a link. It's Lilith. Have you heard of Lilith?
The Solarian.
Lilith.
That's the Solarian eclipse.
Lilith, black sun.
Lilith.
I don't know what that.
The black sun Lilith.
Oh, so you're talking about a solar
black
eclipse? So a solar eclipse.
Oh, Lilith. It's an invisible type of moon.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the black. It's Lilith, the black moon.
Oh, the invisible. Sean, do me a favor. Turn that camera off while you eat. Fuck.
Fuck you.
Jeez, dude. Oh, I'm ever just
Try to be polite.
Sean, do you eat with your mouth full?
I was just trying to talk, and like I'm like staring at him eat. Like this ain't gonna work.
Wow.
Thank you. I mean, I'm getting used to seeing you, but sometimes it's just some things I don't need to watch you do.
All right.
Hey, Veritas.
He's a flat earther.
Yes.
That's a cool name. You don't do woodworking by any chance, do you?
No, I do not.
Okay, that was a.
I used to do demolition. That's about it.
There's a really cool company that makes great woodworking stuff called Veritas.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, I just did demolition. That's about it. But no company.
Oh, I know how to fuck shit up. Believe me. Which is called demolition is a polite word for fucking shit up.
I came up with a concept for a pipe organ pipe that called the Vox Veritas that would duplicate the human voice by using actual like windpipe, like the diaphragm and the windpipe, or the the part that vibrates.
Yeah,
I had the design for it, and nobody do it.
Yeah, tomorrow one of my favorite flat earthers is gonna make a presentation. Is Spurs Chemo.
Oh
shit! On Ranty about is it about pressure, and he's gonna talk about gravity also. So I cannot wait for that.
Oh, I can't wait for that BS.
Yep.
I refuse. I'm not listening to it. I can't. I have to listen to Spurs too much. I don't. I've heard it already. You trust me? Anything he's gonna say, I heard it.
I think I pissed off Veritas.
Nah. He's a special kind. He's good. He's good people, but he's special.
I've seen him several times. I keep meaning to ask him that question.
He likes to not be seen, but be seen. It's kind of weird. So
he's one of the more eloquent and respectful flat earthers. I mean, he kind of overtalks and want to take over, but he's respectful in certain kind. He can talk.
Oh, he talks every once in a while.
Yeah. So is Spurs going to do what I think he is and just go out and say there is no pressure gradient, there's only temperature?
Wait.
If he's been studying at the Chris Berry University for Higher Stupidity, yeah, that's what he'll say.
Brian, you've never heard of sticky air?
I have no idea what that means.
Oh my God. Well, oh my.
Sticky air, lazy light.
Oh my God, you've never heard of sticky air? Are you serious? It explains everything. Oh wow.
Okay. Is this the one where they say temperature is what causes pressure gradient?
I don't know. This is something that's
something different.
One day,
was on Fight the Flat Earth earlier and said that there is no pressure gradient at all.
Oh wow.
Well, they also have tired light.
Okay, so
it gets tuckered out before it gets to you.
Let me share this.
I've never heard of that one.
Light just gets tired and fucking quits. That's it.
That's a Lemon Bird exclusive.
I'm not going any further. Yeah, done.
So you're saying speed of light has different speeds?
Yeah, it has the speed it usually goes at, and then the fuck it speed where it just quits.
All right, can you guys see my screen?
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
Damn sticky.
Oh, look at that bird.
Yes.
Stuck to the air.
When
this is one of Chemo's theories. Sticky air.
Is that the image from Mars where they caught that bird?
I have no idea. I heard him say it, and I found this, and I made it. After I made this one, I instantly made this one.
Sticky air.
Yeah, that was inspired from a Chemo thought, and just a thought. That's not even him really trying. That just happens. That's what Chemo does.
Still on it?
Yeah. You gotta be rugged about it. No bullshitting. I want that motherfucker to look right at me.
Hey, Carlos, are you a flat earther?
I'm a flat earth denier.
Okay, yeah. Flat earth denier because you work in this quote unquote satellite, so you point the antennas to something in the sky and you claim to be in space.
What? Fish, you know.
Hey man, lay off. Back up like two. Hey.
Say that again. Hang on, I didn't. Really
you work on antennas and you point some kind of antennas to quote unquote satellites, and you claim these satellites that you are pointing at are in outer space and or lower orbit and hundreds of miles away.
Yeah, it was not my claim. I have verified it. Yes.
You have verified these satellites are hundreds of miles away. Really? How can you verify this?
It's called geometry.
Okay. That's your answer. Oh, okay.
That was a great answer. Well played, Carlos. Well played.
Well, the nature of parabolic antennas, I mean that they are directional antennas. So we know we can find out where the fixed point in the sky is, and as you move around the Earth, all you need is two angles and a distance in between two angles, and you can use trigonometry, and they can give you the the distance of where you receive the signal from, and somehow it matches the heliocentric model.
And can you tell the difference if you're pointing at one of these points? Can you tell the difference between 50 miles and 250 miles?
Once again, with trigonometry, you need two angles and the distance between the two angles, and you'll be able to get the distance. So yes, you can tell the difference.
I really don't understand. If I'm pointing at something 50 miles away, using my point, my angle, I'm pointing up. How can I know if it's 50 miles away versus 250 miles away?
By moving to a different location and measuring the angle, and by having two angles and one side of a triangle, you can know the rest. It's called.
And what the distance between you where you move from point A and you want to move to point B to point to this object? What is the minimum distance that you got to move? 1 mile, 10 miles, 100 miles?
You want to at least move enough so you can have at least 1 or more degrees of difference on elevation. That way you can at least have something to work with.
Give me a distance average. 10 miles away?
Let's see. About 500 miles. Well, no.
You tell me.
Miles.
No, bro. Like for real. You telling me you have done this? You have traveled 300 miles and you have triangulate this yourself. You've done it.
Yeah. Let me bring up the information here real quick. I give you how far I traveled and the difference. Just bear with me.
Better if two people did it though.
Yeah, it's better so you don't have to travel. But actually, I've gone from Alabama to Nashville. Was it Nashville? No, Tennessee. Sorry. And the elevation where you point the satellite, it's a little bit lower because you're going up north. I think
and you can make sure, and it's definitely the same point that you're pointing at.
Yes, otherwise my directory receiver would not work properly. You can actually move 2 miles, a mile at a time and point at the same direction, and you see it slowly as you start going north south, then you start changing slightly. So that's why it's recommended to move a long distance. But you can verify it. I mean, you have RVs that have a satellite dish mounted on top that are especially the ones that work on in motion. They're constantly connected to that satellite. As you travel from state to state, they're slowly moving. You never have a loss where they're switching from one balloon to another one and they're going like this, that. No, they're slowly moving. So, yeah, you can verify that.
And can any other craft, like maybe a drone, high altitude drone, fly this height and maintain some kind of an orbit over a plane?
Not when it hits the Kármán line.
No, you can't have a aircraft or drone to fly the distance that a geosynchronous satellite is located at. And I guess
there are some aircraft that can stay up for up to 6 months.
Right. The problem is that they're constantly moving. They're not keeping a fixed point from our reference. So if you were having a plane emulating a satellite, then your satellite dish will have to constantly move to be able to track the signal. So you couldn't emulate it with a plane.
Yeah, can one of these planes be flying very high, or one of these, I don't know, just spinning around in a very, very narrow circle? Yeah,
it depends on how sticky the air is. I don't know. You might want to talk to us.
Yeah, but for real, can it be spinning around really close circles, just around and around and around in the same spot? Will you be able to perceive the difference in this circle from your point on Earth? It's a very tiny circle, so you will not be able to perceive.
You won't be able to tell the difference. You won't be able to tell the difference from one location. So, because if you start moving, and then you immediately start seeing how fast that angle starts changing compared to the actual satellite, which you have to take hundreds of miles before your angle starts, going down or up. So if you're from one point, yeah, you can emulate. I mean, you can go up on the plane and emulate that, going to, let's say, a mile circle and emulate a satellite. But the problem is it's only going to be emulated for one person receiving. As soon as that person starts moving, the angle will start changing immediately to a point that you would know right away that it's not a geosynchronous satellite. It's actually something else up there.
What is the lowest that one of these satellites fly above Earth? I mean,
geosynchronous?
Yeah.
Hang on.
I think they're just below the space station, aren't they?
I think they're
22,000 miles, I think.
Yes, about 22,000. Somewhere in between there.
No.
And because they got a less mass, the gravitational effect on them, they can go at a lower orbit.
Is there any satellites lower than the ISS?
No.
Mass has nothing to do
There
with
could be some satellites on low Earth orbit perhaps a little closer to Earth than the ISS itself, but their speed would be a lot faster than ISS. But we're currently talking about geosynchronous satellites.
What's that? What's that, Blue?
Oh, I was orbits don't have anything to do with the mass of the satellite. It's only the speed. So no matter what a thing weighs, if two things can be radically, wildly different in weight, as long as they're going the same speed, they orbit at the same altitude.
Yeah.
So what is this geocentric satellite? Is that let's say is above, I don't know, Puerto Rico, one satellite, let's say, I don't know, 200 miles up, and it's as the Earth moves in quote, the satellite is going above in the same spot, moving along with the Earth in the same spot. Is that it?
It would have to be much higher than 200 miles.
Yeah, well, he said he was just saying, for example, but yeah, basically the speed at which the satellite is rotating around the center of the Earth, it matches the speed from our perspective. So it looks stationary to us, but you're just moving at a speed that is matching the Earth. So from our perspective, it's not moving. Ergo, geosynchronous.
And what is the geostationary satellite?
Geostationary, I should know this, but I can't remember the difference.
Geostationary is defined, I think, as a geosynchronous orbit that's lined up with the equator.
Geocentric is having or representing the Earth as the center, as in the former astronomical system. So yeah, measure from the center of the Earth. So geosynchronous would be could be going from pole to pole, and it wouldn't look stationary to us.
Right.
So that's why I'm talking about geosynchronous. So geocentric, it just means it's the center of the Earth is their reference. I'm not mistaken.
Geostationary is situated right over the equator, so it never appears to move.
Right.
Thank
and
you.
I looked it up. 22,236 miles.
Yeah, see, you have some satellites that are not perfectly on perfect geosynchronous orbit, so they actually look that they're doing a figure 8 pattern from our perspective, like kind of like an Lima. So yeah, that's why you want to do it around the equator. So it looks stationary to us.
I thank you for the information. I'm just trying to learn your fantastic side of the story.
Fantastic side of the story. What's your side of the story? How do you explain satellites?
Just drones and high altitude balloons.
Have you verified this?
No.
Okay, then you should do that. No further questions. Oh gosh.
Never ask a flat earther if they've verified something.
Well, some have. I mean, this is a wrong way to verify things too.
Yeah, but almost every time the answer is, what?
Well, some will take a Fresnel lens and verify atmospheric lensing or magnification. So
yeah, there are those people out there.
No.
Good God, the Swami is here.
The Swami.
Jose sent me a message. He say he's not gonna go live tomorrow in his regular show. He might go late. He might go late at night, but he's gonna be busy in the morning. So no show.
Man, I missed the whole religion one.
This is my little Steven. My East Street Band little Steven look.
I thought you were trying the JM Truth look and got psychedelic.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know.
I want to send this to send it to his production address. Like, say, here's something better.
Production.
White thing.
What production? That jerk don't know how to freaking hold a camera straight.
Yeah.
Oh god, that teaser trailer was fucking awful.
For somebody who claims to be a professional, horrendous. I mean, Come on.
I'm out of here. Good night, everybody.
Hey,
Bye,
fish.
Fish.
See you,
I
fish man.
downloaded it before he could
Go fish.
take it down.
Yeah, go fish.
You got to develop a really good Indian accent to go with that get up you got on there, Shawn.
It's not a get up.
Golly, golly.
It is not. It is not a costume or a get up. You silly man.
Can you give me a
Hello,
definition?
Local experience, my name is-
I am standing beside myself.
I
Yes,
am
I'm not offensive,
knowing
right?
you of good happiness to everyone.
You guys like on our fence, you're right, man.
I've had a lot of indie landlords.
That's pretty good, Shawn.
Hello, and thank you for calling Spirits. My name is Aziz. How can I help you today?
Yes, my name is
Holy
Fred. How can I help you, fellow American person?
Can you give me a better deal on my mobile provider, Shawn?
Welcome to Microsoft. Fuck, I can't. My name is Timothy. I am Roger. No, man, your name is Punjab, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you caught me.
Today they called me pretending to be my company who I work for, and they're gonna save me some money. And then they put somebody in the phone. Do you currently have service? I was like, yeah, with Spectrum. I'm like, oh, how much are you paying? And I said $0. He said, oh, okay, you pay $0. Well, sir, enjoy paying $0. Have a good day. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. Get out of here.
I'm insured through USAA, and nobody can beat it. And they got the biggest customer base on the planet. It's Army, United States Army Association or something like that. It's if you're a veteran or you're serving in any military, in the U.S., you can get your insurance through them, and once you're insured for life.
Heck yeah.
I pay I think $78 every 6 months for insurance, full coverage.
Oh yeah.
If you're a USA customer and you call up Geico or Progressive or something, call us. We can save you 15%. Every time I call up, I'm like, yeah, can you save me money? And who are you insured by? I'm like, USAA. They're like, sorry, we can't help you.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Yep.
Lord have mercy.
I'm going to go ahead and end it pretty soon because if Jose is not going to be there in the morning, then I'm going to try my luck at doing the Jose, what I am calling the Jose Supersede show. So
cool.
And then see how that goes for the morning. So I'm going to try to get myself ready and go to sleep so I can wake up for it. I had fun. I don't need a bunch of flat earthers anymore. I realize it. I get to still learn. But tomorrow, not the morning one, but the one I usually do. So it'll be probably 4 or 5 hours after that. I'm going to do the geoengineering thing. I'm going to see if I can get Schrodinger's cat or Cliff to show up because, like I said yesterday, he kind of gave me some skepticism of it, like it doesn't exist. And I'm going to try to learn him something.
What doesn't exist?
Geoengineering.
Oh.
Yeah,
I don't think he thinks of it in the scale that you're talking about.
That's what I mean, though. But I want him to. I started explaining stuff, and he made it seem like cloud seeding was mythical at that, and I just don't think he's ever heard about it or seen the information about it.
Cloud sitting?
Yeah.
No, not sitting, seeding.
Seed.
Oh, seeding. Okay, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Well, human beings have been geoengineering since the beginning of time.
Prove it.
In one sense, I mean.
Yeah, just adding the emissions.
Yeah, that in and of itself is geoengineering.
Now the stuff they want to do, it becomes geoengineering. It becomes a climate changer. That's what they're doing. That's what they're planning to do as far as the public is concerned. Those type of things he kind of threw into the chemtrail box and can't. I tried to show him the Harvard University, the guys that are going to be doing the ScopeX experiment, and I don't think he even looked at it. So I just wanted to kind of see that that's the direction they're going in the next few years. Because he said, never in our lifetime would we see it, and that's not true. We're going to see geoengineering on the man-made scale, or direct man-made scale, I guess we would say better, in our lifetimes. I guarantee it.
It seems to me that the amount of material that you would have to use to have any meaningful effect would just be so enormous.
Oh yeah,
I can't imagine how much they're talking about. But I mean, in theory, it would work. It should work just fine. The real solution is do something about the goddamn CO2.
Mm-hmm. But in that regards, the only rational thing to do would be plant more trees. But that's only it's rational if we don't have a time limit that's put on us.
Well, that's not really. That's it. I mean, it's sort of it's a band-aid solution.
Well, it would help the situation more than
more plants to do something with the CO2. That's true.
But and we're not, and those don't produce on a regular basis emittance. We do. I mean, all the solutions that we have, they create more emissions than they actually capture. So that's my issue with it. I mean, I like Barney. I get where Barney comes from, where he's kind of like on the we have to do something, but I get that. But they're not promoting it as if it's like that. They're promoting it as if it's a solution and it works. Because I was saying, tomorrow I'm going to talk about some like my regular stream that I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about it because I came across this clip. They were talking about ocean fertilization, where they dump iron in the whole phytoplankton stuff, and they're promoting it like it's good for the ocean. And those red tides aren't good for the ocean, and it kind of pissed me off because that's what they're going to be showing the public. I mean, the people are going to see red tides as good for the ocean because the ocean fertilization makes phytoplankton, which is more food for the life. And it's like, that's not what you're doing it for. You're just like, it will dry fisheries. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way, because the more phytoplankton, more chance of red tides, less fish. It actually kills fish. And it's kind of one of those type things. People aren't, they're not advertising it as it is. That's for damn sure.
I think the ocean would take care of itself if the atmosphere wasn't screwed up.
Mm-hmm. But like I said, the reason I think they've done geoengineering for a long time, like more direct, and in my opinion, that whole where we have to do something in 13 years from the IPCC, I honestly believe that that's because they've been doing it, and something that like they can't control or predict what's next, and they effed up. Now they're putting it on us. Because I'm sorry, if it was as big of a deal as what they're saying, I don't care what you like. They could have been a lot more public about it, because they've never been as publicized about how dangerous the CO2 is. And now we have 13 years to fix it. If it was that drastic, they would have done that and made sure we heard about it 25 years ago. Again, at the way they are bringing it out now. I mean, I know they have, but they're making sure people hear about it now. Then you got Trump. It's a hoax. Also, he can continue drilling. It's kind of like...
Well, we've been talking about CO2 capture for 20 years.
Yeah. Well, I know, like petroleum, they've been doing the carbon capture thing for the recovery, using it to produce more gas. They've been doing that since the 70s, but it was, no one talked about it. Again, it's because, you're still producing more, and it's only to produce more. It's even worse that they're, now we know they're producing more oil using this method. The problem is I thought The whole idea of capturing carbon was to take it out of the air. Why are you using it to produce something that will then produce a lot more emissions in the end result? So I kind of see it for what I think it's worth. And I guess until I see it actually yield a good percentage, it to me just seems like they're going to do it just for the money. That solar radiation management is probably the worst idea in the world to do in regards to CO2, because it has nothing to do with that at all, but it will trap everything.
Right, it doesn't do anything for CO2. It just does something about the warming.
Yeah, and the problem is you then have to decide which one, because you can't do both.
But
you could.
Well,
but are we able to offset when we mine and things like sea ice melting for the gases that get released from those sort of things?
Say again? You mean talking about the CO2?
Well, yeah, I know that the certain things get released from when you mine and what's being captured in the earth.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more. CO2 is just the issue. Like the one is pretty much the only thing we can actually really reduce. I mean, all the other ones are just gases that are emitted through the industry we're doing, and some of them aren't just enough in abundance to be considered the danger. I guess you could. What is the best way to say it? But I do know they've really got an eye on CO2 and all it can do for us. Problem is if they do the solar radiation management, to me, because CO2 levels still are in the gain and we're not reducing at all, I feel if they do the solar radiation management, nothing can escape, but they'll be doing the capture, producing more than they're capturing. So all they're doing is capturing it, making the money they can, and putting it right back into the atmosphere. I just think it's a terrible idea, because then they would have to be working around the clock with no result.
Well, the problem with CO2 is it doesn't readily want to, or conveniently want to become anything other than CO2.
Yes.
It's hard to do anything with the stuff. It isn't capturing it's hard enough, but once you've captured it, now what the fuck do you do with it?
Yeah.
That's the quandary. The solution to it is just to stop producing it, and you do that by limiting the fossil fuel usage.
And what trees and plant life can't absorb enough of it either.
No, that's well, we're just putting more of it in the atmosphere than the planet can stand, and the levels are climbing because of that. It's that simple. But we've got also our societies are dependent on electricity and transportation and stuff that has to use right now.
The stream that I'm on right now, unfortunately. I mean, keeping it real.
And it's certain countries that are like India and I don't know about China compared to India or not for what they're emitting. China. I thought India was worse.
India is technically worse at the moment because China does have the ability to do a little bit of work on it. The only problem is China likes to lie about what they produce.
I'm gonna take off, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here pretty soon.
Off you go.
I'm gonna be actually I'm gonna start wrapping it up. Anybody got anything coming out on a show? Anything happening?
Me in the future.
I know what Carlos is doing in the future.
I already sent you some links, buddy.
Oh, you are. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, well, we should talk more about this stuff, Shawn. Like I told you in the past, my entire career was involved in air pollution control.
Absolutely. I'm gonna do the my normal, like the normal time I do it around my noon West Coast time. Yeah. I'm gonna do. That's what the stream's gonna be about. I tell you right now, I'm not even gonna put flat Earth in the title. That's how serious I am about it not being about flat Earth at all.
Here's the curve, man. There's the curve right there.
There you
go. Carlos doing his Slick James impersonation.
Do what?
Carlos over there doing his Slick James impersonation, just flexing at the camera.
Look, man, I experienced a flat Earth. The Earth is what it needs to be. I don't need to know. I don't need to know. I just accept reality.
I wouldn't even do a Slick James contest. I would not. I would kill everyone that every time someone says experience. Like again, over at the server that I'm over at, like you get to hear all this crap.
Yo, mama.
They ran
Yo,
they
mama.
ran Slick out because they got sick of his experiences.
It's stupid.
He comes back. He keeps coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been back in recently. Yeah.
Like I get his thing, but to come out and say reality is, I don't need to know. I just accept it. I like you
lost your
moron.
mind. Yeah.
I like that makes no. Anyway, why'd you get me started? I'm over here mad now.
You can't tell Slick that he's a moron, and Slick can tell himself that he's a
Yo,
moron.
mama. That's all he would say. Yo, mama.
For those who actually aren't in the Facebook group with him, he's basically offering to pimp slap anybody who disagrees with him right now.
Yeah, see, that's also the other thing I keep forgetting about. I forget that there's like Flat Earth Facebook stuff going on, Flat Earth Twitter stuff going on. I can't do all that.
Yeah, well, there's what's his name, Nathan Thompson. He put a video of him shirtless, like balancing on this rope, and I going like, dude.
Did you enjoy it, Carlos?
I enjoyed it. What's wrong with you? What the heck? And then he was doing his workout with his sledgehammer, bouncing that little ball. And like,
because you're really descriptive about the story, Carlos. That's why I asked.
Well, and because it was like a timeline. It was like a live feed. I mean, a live broadcast on Facebook. Somehow I have it on Facebook, and I'm going like, what is this dude doing? He's sort of balancing on that rope and balancing on the rope. And anyway, it's just it cracks me up. He doesn't eat animal carcasses, because that's poison apparently. That Joker has stuff how to do steak. How can you be a vegan?
All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here now. I'll be on tomorrow. Yeah, Blue. Again, the normal show, 12 noon West Coast time. That's all I'm gonna talk about tomorrow. So I'll send you an invite and everything.
And if you guys want to see curvature, just anytime, just let me know.
Thank you, Carlos.
Lift my shirt up. I mean, either way.
No. Wait until I'm done. And thank you for the list. I gotta go by us. All right, almost got porn bombed by Carlos. Wow, it's an honor. Anyway, yeah, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. It does look like I'm going to try to go live in the morning, so don't press me to it. But I think what Carlos already said, he's not going to be, or not Carlos, damn. Jose said he's not going to go live in the morning, so I'll have a Jose show here. And we'll call it the Jose Supersede live stream. And maybe Riley can understand that doesn't mean that everything that happened before, all of Jose's videos and streams go away, because they're still there. It's just I'm just doing the one for the morning. All right, so see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
you.